Unbelievably, it has been nearly a year since I first released my 100 Days as a Mage video, which sparked basically the entire interconnected Fixiverse. I thought what better time than now to go and revisit those 4 Mage videos. It is one story after all. Let's be honest here, my entire YouTube style has changed pretty dramatically over the last year, and I think now would be a great time to go back and revisit these 4 videos as kind of a director's cut, where I can re-edit them together, make a more concise overall story, and allow you to just take in the whole thing in one sitting. Alright, enough of that, let's go. 100 Days Mage starts right now.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. So it is decided. For practicing the dark arts of the arcane, you will be stripped of all magical abilities and banished from this world for the rest of your days. Sentence to be carried out immediately.
"100 days. It's both a long time in hardcore Minecraft, but also a short time to accomplish a lot. Special shout out to Luke the Notable, who came up with this very cool 100 Days concept, and a very special thank you to Forge Labs, who turned me on to this with his amazing zombie apocalypse video. Seriously, I think it's one of the best Minecraft videos I've ever seen. I'll link that video as well. I'll be lightly role-playing this again, just like my last video, this time as an unnamed mage who has been stripped of his once formidable power. Seems he dipped a little too deeply into the dark side. If you enjoyed the video and would like to subscribe for tons of content, both 100 Days videos as well as more traditional Let's Plays from my long-term survival world, please do. I promise you won't regret it. Enough of all that. Let's get on with the video. Enjoy. So this is how it is. I can't believe they actually did it. Perhaps one of my more interesting experiments may have gone wrong, but the council wouldn't even listen to my reasoning. I told them I could correct it, but they took my power and they sent me here. Nothing is known of this place, except no one has ever returned. I will be the first, though. I will return to this so-called council and discuss my banishment up close and personal. But first, I need to survive this prison world. If I had even a taste of my old magic, this would be the simplest of tasks, but without it, I'm going to need to make tools like a commoner. How embarrassing. I actually had to use my fist to break some wood just to make some simple, rudimentary wood tools, and then I could upgrade those with stone. Well, and then I saw this. Oh, what are these? Yeah, no thank you. No thank you, dinosaurs. Freaking dinosaurs are here? Oh, man. Yeah, that's not good. Look, I don't know if these beasts are friendly, but I'm not going anywhere near them. Then, right after that, everything changed. I found a village. I had no idea there was intelligent life in this dimension. I tried talking to one of these, well, people, I guess. They seem almost mute, making only slight grunting sounds to me. Maybe someday I could find a way to trade with them, but for now, my stomach was starting to rumble a bit, and I need some food. Luckily, the farmers in this place had been busy and had some ripe carrots and wheat. Looks like I won't starve. What in the hell is this? There is liquid Ethereum here. That changes everything. The fools on the village council stripped me of my power, but perhaps they weren't able to strip me of my ability to regain power. I need to make a book right away. By making an item frame with some of these cows I just slaughtered and putting a book near the liquid Ethereum, oh, the magic happens. Literally, the magic happens. By unlocking this book, I unlocked my own spells. Now, I'm nowhere near the powerful wizard that I was when I was banished, but I have the ability to cast spells again. The sun was going down, and I still hadn't found any sheep to make a bed yet, and yeah, that's when I got attacked by a tree. Oh shoot! Oh shoot! What? What the heck? Oh, thank God he's trapped. Alright, the mighty tree that attacked me maybe wasn't so mighty after all, but on its death it spawned a phantom that could have been scary had I not been able to hide under this tree. I headed back to the village and snuck in someone's house and hid there for the night. I wanted to start the day by gathering some wood. Not as easy as you might think whenever you need to protect against trees that can come alive and kill you, but fortunately I was able to get some rudimentary supplies without much incident. I'll need to make an Oculus first, and to get that, I'll need some blue topaz. Now, I haven't seen any, so let's just hope it generates in this dimension as well. I gathered some wood, some more food, and had to take out some more of these ice spiders. I headed down to the mine to mine for the rest of the night. I finally found some blue topaz after mining for almost an entire day. I also got a nice haul of iron and even some diamonds, but for a mage who needs to make an Oculus, blue topaz is where it's at. I was able to craft an Oculus finally, my first step back into the arcane. I had 3 ability points I can grant myself: touch, dig, and projectile. This won't help me dispatch any of these terrible monsters, but it will help me gain more power, and for now that's where my focus is. Magic is like a muscle. You have to use it, and use it effectively to gain more muscle. If I were, say, to make a lightning spell and just cast it wildly at the sky, outside of it looking like quite the light show, nothing would happen to me. If I'm digging stone and ore, I'll gain more power the more I use it, which will then allow me to make more and greater spells. You know, it seems in this world, even mining is no easy task. Oh, jeez! Oh, God! Oh, what the... Come on, dude. Yeah, trees come alive, coal comes alive. How do I survive here? I was able to craft a few more parts of what I'll need to create my first spell. It's a bit of a process. When I learned the arcane arts, I was in Teeterly's school for the gifted in arcane. I took for granted that they had all the simple machines there. Sure, we learned how to create them, thankfully for me, but we never really needed to. If we needed an Oculus, there was always one just down the hall. If I'm going to be living in this place for a while, I'm going to need some room. I spent the evening today clearing some space just beside my house to make the altar. Hopefully I have all the parts I need. Again, I stayed out too late tonight, and I almost paid the ultimate price. I had to run back to the safety of my house and eat some food and slay them from inside my door. Yeah, I'm not real proud of myself here, but look, I don't have any spells yet, so I gotta do what I gotta do. I spent time today building up my altar. Magic walls almost tripped me up, but I was able to find a bit more Vinium ore, and I got the altar all set up. Time to craft my first spell officially. Projectile dig. That's it. Such a simple spell will give so much power in time. I just need to put the book in the lectern, drop a blank rune in the altar, Vinium dust, arrow, and a snowball. How could I have forgotten that? All projectile spells require a snowball, and I surely have not seen any inside this terrible dimension. I spent every second of the night and following day searching for snow and came up empty. I have no reason to expect that snow is even a thing in this dimension, but I surely hope so. If there is no snow, I will never be able to make a projectile spell, and that's going to be bad for surviving. I need to keep searching. At the end of the day, I managed to find my first wool so I can actually make a bed. No more sleepless nights for me. Another day out searching, I found an interesting house made of brick. The stairs lead to a very, very dark basement that I am in no way prepared to go check out. I will mark it in my map for later. Finally! I was out for so long searching, I actually had to travel back home to drop off all of the loot I've collected. Then I ventured out in a new direction to the south, and sure enough, snow. After crafting just a few more components, orange rune, iron pick, iron shovel, and spell parchment, lo and behold, I have it. My first spell since being banished. I am so excited. I headed down to the mines to mine and level up my magic power for the rest of the day. I spent a good deal of time today to make a second spell. I remember there being a simple Mage Light spell taught to mere students at the school. It's a hard pill to swallow for such an experienced mage such as myself, but I'm going to need to start with some basic student spells, I suppose. I crafted the book for the spell Projectile Mage Light and went out in the storm to craft it, only to be met and scared half to death by some sort of cloud storm monster. This place is insane! After I brushed myself off, I went back out in the rain and made my spell. Testing this thing out, I am not sure if it's how basic I've become or what, but I am so happy and proud of this little light. I'm going to try to light up the whole village and keep some of these monsters away tomorrow. It's become obvious that I need a decent attack spell. This world is just so intense. I worked today on crafting a basic projectile force damage spell. Sure, look, I'd love to add some enhancements, but I don't have anywhere near that type of materials. This spell is awesome, but now I need some sort of protection. Sure, I could make iron armor. I certainly have enough of iron, but that's fine for some commoner. Perhaps one of these idiots I live in this village with, but for a mage, no. I need mage robes, and to get that, I need leather, and to get that, I need cows and wheat. We're making a giant farming operation here, I think. There's always something. Well, I worked today on making some space for a nice wheat farm for the cows. This stupid village is so snug in the middle of a spruce forest that there really isn't room for anything and roads and all that stuff. So let's clear out some space right in the middle and we'll have some room for wheat and probably attach the cow pen to that. I suppose if I'm going to be spending the next few months living here while my power grows, I may as well make something pleasing to the eye. I got lucky again. A huge, and I mean huge pool of liquid Ethereum formed just under a small layer of dirt in my base. I'm going to clear this out and make it a proper pool. To a mage, Ethereum is like liquid gold. Being freaking scared of the night is getting old. Some sort of winged demon thing chased me inside today. I got more done around the town for a crop field and this cow pasture, but boy, these demons are scary. I need armor in a bad way. I worked on landscaping the town again today. Then something happened. I heard a scream outside my house and looked out just to see this. So, apparently Invasion of the Frozen Jerks is a thing here. That's spectacular. I can't sleep tonight due to monsters literally standing on my roof, so I headed down to the mines and went to town. If anything's going to kill me now that I have a decent attack spell, it will be my own stupidity at this point. I was out planting wheat today, and nighttime almost ended me when I was stupid and didn't go to sleep. A wolf beast caught me almost completely out of mana. Yikes. I killed it with my own shovel at least, but it was close. I made a mistake. Me, the all-knowing master mage, didn't consult the arcane compendium before gathering leather for my mage robes. I was browsing through the pages this morning and dropped the book. It fell open to a recipe for the mage helm, which requires 1 piece of leather, but 4 wool. To my dismay, I checked the other parts and the same held true for them as well. So when morning broke, I was off to find sheep. These are the slowest and most infuriating animals. I cannot believe a master of the arcane arts has to hold wheat in his hand to coax these beasts to follow. Not only that, but it turns out that these dinosaurs are indeed peaceful, thankfully, as I just backed into them not knowing they were behind me. And worse though, they will follow me when I'm holding wheat. I was completely swarmed by the largest animals I've ever seen. It's a wonder I wasn't crushed. I didn't make it all the way back home that night and had to leave my sheep out in nature and run home so I could sleep. I hope they make it through the night. I got the sheep back home. Home? Is this my home? No, it's not my home, and I won't think of it that way. This is simply a way station along the road to my sweet revenge. I don't think these sheep will be safe, even within my little village, from all these monsters unless I built some sort of shelter. I did start laying out a basic plans for maybe a barn in the future. I may include a cow aspect to protect them as well. I'm a man on a mission. I want to feel invulnerable, and the added punch to my spells would be a nice side effect from full mage armor. I'm off to find brown dye. I had 3 options. Cocoa beans, found only in a jungle. Flat mushrooms, whatever they are. Not the normal mushrooms. No, I tried those. These mushrooms have to be flat to make brown dye. Not the other brown mushrooms, which are brown. Or cattails. I think that's my best shot. I know from exploring to find snow that there is a swamp across the sea. I headed that way, and sure enough, cattails. Oh, right. Also, I almost died again. This is getting old. I need armor, I need enchanting, and I need a good, decent healing spell. Alright, I'm getting serious now. I need brown wool, and I needed to move these freaking cows. I worked on the cow pasture for a bit and kept an eye out for when the sheep ate some grass. Also, I learned something else. Apparently, sheep eating puzzle won't regrow their wool, so blah, I had to replace all of their pen's puzzle with grass. But I'm getting closer. I spent the day gathering wool and slapping a small roof on the sheep pen wall. This should make it blend in with the village a bit better and give the sheep some protection in case some sort of flying beast starts shooting projectiles all over the place. After the sunset, I dove in to make my mage armor. The only hang-up is the pants, which I need one single gunpowder. How don't I have any gunpowder for all the mobs I've killed in the past 19 days? It's unbelievable. I'm gonna have to really watch for a creeper somewhere. No creepers yet, but I'm going to start dealing with something else that is annoying me. You know, these crop nature monsters that spawn when I'm breaking carrots or grass or whatever, I thought that if I were to put a small roof on some of the smaller farms, maybe they would spawn and stay within fighting range. It did work on a little bit of a test run. While I was working on another one of these farms, one of the idiot villagers came out and offered me a drink of water. I could have gotten my own, but it was kind. Maybe I could help these people somehow survive in this awful place. Today I thought of something. I don't know why I didn't do this before, but you know, we mages do things other than just pure magic. We've learned ways to build normal stuff too, just better. I crafted a magician's workbench and its upgrades today. This allows me to hold all of my most crafted recipes in the machine as well as different crafting components in its storage. It's a really nice little upgrade to my life. The next thing I'd like to do is start work on an actual good and proper healing spell. Well, I mean, as good as I can at my meager level. First thing I need to do is I need to get some glowstone, and that means a trip to the Nether. And, well, look, the Nether in my old home wasn't so dangerous a place, but this prison dimension, it could be a whole lot worse. If the monsters that inhabit the overworld inhabit the Nether, I could be in for a real fight. I gathered some obsidian, made some flint and steel, and got prepared. My trip to the Nether was a wild success. First and most importantly, I didn't die. It's always key. Also, I managed to get a lot of glowstone right off the top. I pushed my luck by staying and killing some mobs to finally get some gunpowder. I am very excited to complete my mage robes. I need some green dye for a healing spell, and to get green dye you have to have a cactus, and to have a cactus you have to have a desert. Well, luckily, thanks to my search for snow, I know pretty much where a desert is, so I took a boat far down to the southwest, and I found it. While I was in this desert, I decided that I think it's time to find out what dinosaur tastes like. So, since I know these are passive already, I went ahead and took out as many as I could find. I'm going to be eating dinosaur steak for the next couple weeks. I did some real building today. I'd like to get my crafting altar a bit more protected so I can make spells in peace. I did try to come up with a simple design that fits this little village that we have here. These people are so helpless. I don't understand how they haven't been slain by the incredible amounts of terrible monsters all over the place. It boggles my mind. I suppose I should start thinking a wall soon. I built my first real mage machine today, my first obelisk in this new world. With it, I can make much more powerful spells as well as a kale factor, and I can cook things like meat and potatoes in it. Also, as a side product, it generates lots of Vitium dust for me, which is something I'm woefully short on. I'll need to get some liquid Ethereum to power it. Fortunately, I have a large pool just outside my door. Finally! Today is the day 27, and I'm going to make my first, honest to goodness, proper healing spell. Self-heal regeneration. I'm going to get the bang of the initial heal, plus I believe a few seconds of heal regen on top of that. What a spell. I did have to link my obelisk to the crafting altar, and I'm glad I still remembered how to do that. I do need a better place to store my liquid Ethereum I'm finding around here. Maybe a few storage ponds or a tank or something like that. After 28 days, I was starting to feel a little bit cooped up, so I headed out of town. I found some sort of old ancient dungeon that I could go exploring. It started off pretty well. I wanted to test myself against something that I could hit and something that would hit me back. And yeah, there was no shortage here in this dungeon. There were some scary monsters. But using my projectile dig, I could actually break any monster spawners, and using my projectile light, I could light up rooms from a distance away. It actually went pretty well. I didn't delve down to the very deepest depths here. My inventory had filled up with loot, and to be honest, it was getting harder per level that I went down, and I just didn't want to risk dying down here and, well, being dead. I kept pushing my luck further and further, keep thinking, okay, one more turn, one more crate, one more chest, and then this happened. Oh no, oh no, oh, baby. That was close. It's a funny thing, after killing really endless monsters and terrible things in this world, one simple zombie with a pickaxe almost took me out. I think one more hit and I would have been done for. What good is a wizard without a wizard tower? It's time to build a place where I can do some real work and maybe get away from the people in my village just a little bit. I'd like to enchant my gear as soon as I possibly can. The real hang-up right now is a place to actually do it. And, well, I guess sugarcane for books, too. I'm farming sugarcane, though. That's a problem that will take care of itself in short order. Let's just build a tower today. I think it turned out pretty well. It was finally time to enchant my gear up, my brand new wizard tower, and I learned something terrible. It takes 30 levels to enchant gear in this terrible dimension. It's like the stories I read from years and years and years ago, how it used to be back in my father's and his father's day. 30 levels, man. Yikes. I am so beyond over monster attacks and just the absolute constant nature of them. So today, I'm going out and I'm going to be building a wall. I decided that for this wall, I wanted to build sort of an organic shape of the wall following the natural landscape, and this doesn't need to be the fanciest wall of all time. It just needs to be high enough to stop monsters from freely walking into my village. I spent the entire day extending my wall up, so it's about 4 or 5 meters high around. Again, it's not going to win a beauty contest, but you know what? It should work to keep at least some of the monsters out. Yeah, I know there's flying monsters in this dimension, but at least the wandering ones aren't just going to wander up and burn the whole place down. I cut down all the trees within the walls. I wanted to see how much space I'd work with, and then I went outside the walls to cut down some more trees just to gather wood for future buildings and stuff. And when I came back after the sun went down, well, the unthinkable happened. My village was very, very quiet. There was no one here. Yeah, I don't know if maybe something came and carried them away, ate them and their bones and their clothes, everything, or what, but I had one villager remaining. Damn it, I'm going to protect that one dude. That one guy, he is going to live. I'm not going to let anything happen to him. I did some real work today. I feel like I'm finally moving out of the novice mage skill set and moving into slightly more interesting things. To make my Silk Touch dig spell, which is something I really want, I am going to need an air essence. And so to get that, I need to make arcane ash and smelt that. And to get that, you need netherrack, redstone, glowstone, and bone meal. Well, netherrack is the one thing I don't really have any of, so I ventured into the nether and risked it all to get some. And I figured while I was here, I may as well grab some quartz and things that are sitting around as well. It was pretty much uneventful other than that. And with that, I completed my Silk Touch dig spell. This is going to be so great. I'm going to be able to pick up grass, pick up glass, pick up stone without it turning into cobblestone, which is going to be great for building more. I'm really, really excited for this spell. With my 34 levels, I decided to enchant my chess piece today. I got fairly unlucky, only Unbreaking 3. There's a lot of worse things you can get than just Unbreaking 3, but I was hoping for Unbreaking and some sort of protection. But look, I'll take it. To make more spells, I'm going to need blue skill points. And as I'm leveled up to intermediate mage power now, they're not coming free. That means it's time to start summoning some bosses. So I think I'll summon the Earth Guardian first and see how well I do against him. The only thing is, to summon the Earth Guardian, you need an emerald, and I don't have any emeralds. So I'm off to a nearby village to see if I can make a wheat trade and grab a handful. I had another idea for a Guardian that maybe won't be quite so pricey as well. There's such a thing as a Water Guardian, and it's actually fairly cheap to summon. The only thing you have to wait for is rain. So, you know, it can happen frequently or not so much. After night fell, instead of sleep, I went into the mines. I gotta tell you, mining is such a pleasure now since I have enough mana reserved that essentially I never run out. I can mine as quickly as I can walk and fill my inventory in just minutes. The only downside is breaking ores with my spells doesn't yield experience, which I need in order to enchant my gear. I'll have to think about that sometime. After just days and days of just bad luck at every turn, finally things changed and went my way. I was just finishing work on the Water Guardian summoning platform, and it started to rain. I rushed back to my house, grabbed 8 redstone inlays, wood for boats, iron for buckets of water, and I got a summon off while the rain kept on going. Okay, I'll admit I'm not so proud of how I fought him. It wasn't exactly a fair fight. I put up gates to keep him far away from me and just shot my rock shot spell from the safety of good distance here. Look, it's not on me the Water Guardian doesn't have hands and can't open a gate. The rain persisted overnight, and despite the danger of mobs coming up behind me, the rewards were just too tempting. I stayed out all night and much of the next day, killing the Water Guardians over and over and over and over. I summoned and killed 8 Water Guardians before the rain stopped. 8! In my wildest dreams, I thought perhaps I could get maybe 2, maybe 3, but 8? Oh man, I gotta get back to the Oculus. I spent all of the next day looking at my points in the Oculus and deciding where to put them and what my first spell would be. I didn't want to waste any of these points because I don't know when the next time the rain is going to fall, and I'm not totally convinced of my ability to beat the Earth Guardian. So I finally decided that I wanted a way to harvest leaves better for building this place. I want my town to look beautiful, and leaves would be a big help. I created Projectile Autumn's Harvest Feather Touch spell, and my hope is it will drop a lot of leaves every time I cast it at a tree. I don't think it will need the Area of Effect modifier, because that is going to be a little bit out of my reach as of yet. It was a good day and a bad day. I guess the bad first. All my cows are dead. I have no idea what happened. I can probably guess. I mean, there are terrible monsters that spawn up every 2 seconds and try to kill everything they see, but still, I didn't see it, and I wasn't here to defend them. Yeah, cows are all gone. It's okay, I'm not out of food. I have plenty of crops here in the town to feed me. Not a big deal. I have 1 surviving villager here. Maybe I should bring him some dinosaur meat just to make sure he's fed. We can't communicate at all, but maybe we can come to some sort of understanding. It's been 40 days at this point. I suppose it's just the 2 of us here. I may as well make an attempt to talk to him. On the good side, my Autumn Harvest spell works perfectly. Maybe I'll really class up the place and put a bunch of leaves all over and just bring some nature in so it's not just grass and some random houses inside the walls. Yeah, I think it's going to be really nice. I made a haste spell today, and I sure love it. I made it so I could run out and find leather a little quicker now that my cows are all dead. I got completely sidetracked, however, by a new idea. While I was running outside, I thought of an easy little design for the top of a wall that could maybe allow me to patrol up there. And if any of those huge monsters come attacking, it would be really nice to have a higher vantage point to fight them. Just to mix up the palette, I decided to gather a lot of oak, since it stands out a bit from the rest of the village, which is just bathed and dripping in spruce. I still have a long time here, I may as well make the place look nice. I worked on the top of a wall today, and yeah, it's coming along. It's probably going to require another day to work, but what I really like about having an overhang on a wall is it stops anyone from scaling up the wall. That's right, I'm looking at you, spiders. I was working on the wall all morning on day 43, and I took a little break to come and talk to my one villager in my town. I don't know, try to come up with some words that maybe we could both understand, and, well, then this happened. Look, if you could just tell me your name. Wait. Did you say Bob? Is your name Bob? Okay, Bob it is. So, roughly translated, and yeah, I mean very roughly translated, my neighbor's name is Bob? I think he was trying to tell me he could help. It's so difficult. We have so few words that we both understand. Perhaps I may have dismissed the people living in this village as sheer idiots with the intelligence of a cow. Maybe I was a little too hasty. I will look forward to talking more with Bob. I truly can't have a conversation at this point, but it is nice to hear another voice. You know, one that's not screaming monster sounds while chasing me all over the place. I want to upgrade my liquid Ethereum storage. Back in the university, we had giant tanks to hold it, and, well, that doesn't seem like a thing I can produce here, so I'll have to improvise a bit. I started some simple round holes in the ground to hold a decent amount and have on hand just in case my little area becomes under siege by monsters. Well, but then it started to rain again, and you know I couldn't resist. Yeah, baby, 6 more blue orbs. This is almost too easy. It is too easy. I'm not complaining, though. The next thing I want to think about is how to get some green orbs next. Maybe the Air Guardian? Maybe. I finished up the Ethereum pools here on day 45, and I also added a fence to the wheat field. I still don't have a solid plan on what to do about the cows. I actually do need more leather. I could go out and harvest leather from random wild cows and monsters, but I'd rather have a breeding supply right here at home. The thought of coaxing more cows inside the walls is not something I am relishing. I couldn't sleep tonight, though. I've been thinking about my quality of life. I think roads would really help. Nothing super complicated, just something I could walk from place to place and not be stepping in animal duty or dead monster goo from the night before. I've had something gnawing at the back of my mind for quite some time, and only this morning did I figure out what it is. This world, this dimension, is too quiet. Okay, yeah, there's constant sounds of monsters and terrible things everywhere, but there are no loud booms, no explosions from meteorites hitting the ground. There should be moonstone everywhere at this point, but there isn't. I remember my masters at university used to talk about a sort of poor man's version of moonstone that ancient mages could use when there were shortages. You see, mages used to be much more prevalent than they are in my time, and moonstone will only fall near a fairly accomplished mage. At this point, I think I am fairly accomplished, and yet, no moonstone. I have to assume that I'm the only mage in this area, so I think it's fair to say moonstone isn't falling in this dimension. I'm going to have to use the artificial moonstone made from iron blocks. Yeah, it's a little pricey, but if this spell works, I shouldn't be short on materials ever again. I have been wanting to make an area of effect dig spell with feather touch thrown in as well. This is going to be amazing. It's a little complicated though. First, I had to upgrade my crafting altar, goodbye glass blocks, and hello lapis caps. One day I'd like to change out for a better block, moonstone or sunstone, but, well, at the moment lapis is just fine. After a lot of components, it works. Oh, this is going to be fun. I spent the entirety of day 47 mining. I really don't need endless materials, truly, but I just can't help myself. It is so fun. You have to understand, I was a really powerful mage in my old life and stripped of all that ability suddenly and with basically no warning. To regain this power to shape and destroy giant strips of land with nothing but a gesture and a thought, oh, it's a feeling all right. With my new artificial moonstone, I'm actually able to do the ritual of purification on an obelisk. This is a great spell. It's a little pricey because you need to kill a bunch of pigs to get the pig fat for the candles, but, well, worth it. So with this, you can take the obelisk and you can stop it from requiring Ethereum or Ventium ore to function. It can harness the power of just daylight to work. So basically, it works for free, but only during the day. Well, since I sleep a lot of nights, that's not going to be much of an issue, and it's going to be a net win where I can power my Kale Factor or my altar basically all the time. It's really, really nice. I worked on the roads all day in my little village here, and, you know, having such a steady supply of stone really changed everything. It's nice to not have to worry about materials, and I can just build where I want to build. 50 days in this prison, and it's starting to feel a little bit more habitable. I have, I don't know, a friend? At least someone I can talk to in the nights after a hard day's work. The walls are high, and monster attacks are seemingly a little bit less frequent. The next major step will be to light this place up, but first, I needed a lot of oak, so I used my haste spell to run up to the huge oak forest nearby and spent the day dealing with my oak shortage. Now that I'm halfway to the power I'll need to return to my world, I want to start making life a bit easier so I can focus more on my studies. Firstly, I upgraded my spell desk so I can make more complex spells. Now each spell can actually have up to 5 variations. Secondly, I started making something that will be a bit more complicated, but well worth it. My only fear is that flickers won't spawn in this dimension. Flickers are amazing little arcane critters. With some simple guidance, they can do all kinds of things. Farming, butchering, storage. Yeah, I'm more than ready for that. I caught a lot of flickers today, and not having an absolute plan for them, I wasn't sure exactly which type I needed. Not that it really matters. You don't get to choose which ones pop into existence. I just wanted to have a nice selection so that when I'm ready to automate some stuff, I have the flickers in a box ready to go. This wall needs to be completed. After spending a few days working on my magic workshop, it felt good to get outside and work a little bit more on the cosmetic part of the village. Still a few more things to do, but every block that I build up keeps me and Bob a little bit more safe. Well, here we go. To make my first flicker habitats, I need slime balls, and I have not found any slimes here at all. I took a boat to the swamp across the ocean and stayed awake all night. Yeah, it was awful and scary. Yeah, it was at that point, after getting blindness and almost blown up by a creeper while getting hit by some other sort of flying creature, that I thought, hey, you know what, it's time to get out of here. I did return with a nice bit, 13 slime balls and some pig fat, some alm. It was really a good haul, and it was a little bit more dangerous than I wish it were. But hey, you know what, I made it out safe, and I lived to see another day. I made a flicker habitat and the flicker focus of felled oak. Man, this is terrific. Now, hypothetically, when a tree grows, the flicker should cut it down automatically. Oh man, I've missed flickers so much. I have a fully functional dark oak farm. This is terrific. I added a magic broom to sweep up the logs, apples, and saplings and drop it right in a chest for me. There's no way to really automatically replant it, but I don't mind swinging back to replant logs. It's just going to be nice that it's going to automatically chop them down for me. I'll have to work on some sort of advanced storage solution later. I've been building completely out of spruce with some oak. This is going to be really nice to have a third wood to work with. Plus, dark oak goes well with my dark black heart. Actually, that's kind of a thing. I've not been feeling very dark-hearted recently. None of the anger and hate that used to overwhelm me is really part of me anymore. I'm not sure why. I'm extremely angry when I think about it being imprisoned here, but maybe it's my friendship with Bob or knowing that I need to look after him that's kind of keeping me from delving deeper into the darker side of the arcane. That's kind of what got me here in the first place, but I don't feel that pull anymore. I don't know. I'm going to need to think on this. Maybe this place is changing me. Later in the day, I started my quest for green orbs. I'm going to need a lot of these to sort of enhance my magic skill. And, well, to get that, I'm going to need to summon the Air Guardian. And, well, to summon the Air Guardian, you have to summon him quite high up in the air. So I went to the top of this little mountain peak that I have nearby my village and started building another mage tower. But this one's going to be a lot taller. It needs to be basically cloud height at the top where I will summon the Guardian. Yeah, it's okay. It'll be a nice place to look over my creation of this town. The tower is growing and growing. I finally remembered to bring a bed up with me to save the return trip back down to my house, which at this point is pretty far down below. So the view is really nice from up top, but getting down is actually not that easy of a task. I really need to work on a ladder or stairs or something. I finished up the final details on the Mage Tower, and yeah, after 59 days, we are just about ready to summon this Air Guardian. I think tomorrow I'm going to gather the materials I need to bring him into this world and hopefully slay him. I may have gotten ahead of myself just a little bit. I do want to slap a roof on this thing and actually add a little bit of infrastructure going up, like some floors, so it's not just a pole with a ladder in the middle. Maybe eventually we'll dress this up with some libraries and all that kind of mage type of things. I had intended to summon the Air Guardian today, but it turns out that to do that I need to make some air essences, and well, that takes some time, so it turns out we're delaying that summoning procedure for an additional day, but I swear tomorrow the dude is going down, hopefully a whole bunch of times. Sometimes, rarely, but sometimes everything works out perfectly. I summoned the Air Guardian 7 times and easily, slowly, but easily took him out, gathering 7 green orbs and granting myself some very, very nice new abilities. Tomorrow, I think, is going to be an awesome spellcrafting day. I spent the entire day making one of my all-time favorite spells, maybe the very best spell in all of this arcane world, called Mark and Recall. It's amazing. You can mark a spot in the ground, go anywhere you want throughout the entire world, and recall yourself back to that spot. I made this a little bit extra, though. I made it both a self-casting spell and a projectile spell. So that way, if I'm out traveling and I see some pigs or some cows or some mushrooms or something and I want to send them back to my base, I can projectile recall and they will instantly be teleported back to wherever my mark is. Oh, this is going to be a time saver. No more carrying wheat and having animals follow me like a commoner. No, baby, I'm a mage. On one of my Air Guardian kills, he dropped his sled, and that is awesome. So I have now gained the ability of flight. It's not great flight. It's not exactly a wizard flight, but I can ride on this thing, and I can go anywhere I want. Flying is awesome. Oh, yes. I can't even express how joyful it is to fly through the air again after that ability was sort of stripped from me. I spent the rest of the afternoon sending sheep, cows, pigs, chickens all back to my base using my amazing recall spell. We're going to have a whole thriving farm here for me and Bob. It's going to be great. Separating these beasts from their one pen is surely a lot easier with recall, but they're still such stupid creatures. Even breeding them is a pain. Maybe there's an arcane solution to that too. I wanted to make a charm spell to breed my animals, and to do that I really wanted to be an AoE charm spell, and to do that I need TNT, and to get that I need gunpowder, which I still don't really have any, so I am going to head to the Nether and grab some gunpowder. But before I go there, I am acquiring quite a few spells, so I went ahead and used some of my precious leather, now that I have a supply of cows around, to craft 3 spell books. That way I have one for attack spells, one for sort of dig spells and stuff like that, and then one for utility, such as Mark and Recall, Mage Light, all that kind of stuff. It's going to help to really sort of organize my inventory, I think. Alright, off to the Nether. Can I just tell you how much I hate the Nether here? Look, the Nether in our normal world, it's scary. This is ridiculous. Everything here is trying to kill you and has means to do it. It's really awful. I've really started taking to killing everything I see from a good distance. Oh, man. Well, I made it out alive and I got some gunpowder, so I should be ready to craft my spell. Oh, boy. I need eggs. I need a life essence, and to get that, I need eggs. This day is insane. I stood around the entire day waiting for 2 eggs before I finally got them. I finally did it. I took my couple eggs and made my charm spell. Oh, there is love in the air. For future growth in my arcane arts here, I'm going to need some Cerro Blossoms. I have a couple, but I need like 10. I have basically 2 choices here, either bone meal grass and just hope, or go exploring. I'll be honest here, if I didn't have recall and an air sled, I'd probably just use up all the rest of my bone meal, but I don't have that much, and you know, with recall it's only a one-way trip, so it's not too bad. Cerro Blossoms grow in primarily green areas, forests, plains, that kind of thing. So I searched a bunch of those today, and I had to deal with a bunch of monsters under the tree canopy. I don't think these ones are necessarily dangerous, but they're scary, and they leave off some sort of poisonous cloud after I kill them. Things got a little dicey towards the end of my voyage here, and so I had to put my recall to good use. Thank goodness I have it. We finally have gates to our little village here. I spent 2 months in this place with wide open gates, wondering why monsters kept attacking me, and yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to have some sort of semi-functional way of keeping stuff out and also keeping Bob in. You never know if he's going to wander off. There's a small section of my base here that I've never really liked. This sort of weird cliff area here. I decided to add a retaining wall, especially now that I have gates. This is going to be probably the main way in and out, so I'm just going to dress it up a little bit, and then eventually I have something in mind to go up on top of that area, but, well, that's down the road a bit. My chickens are dead. Oh, come on. Apparently some sort of monster got into the pen, killed them, didn't even bother to eat their meat, and then just went away. Really nice. Really nice. The sheep and other animals I have seem to be okay, and especially the sheep I've had here for a while, penned in that sort of, I don't know, foundation wall area thing. So maybe I need to move all the animals in there just to keep them safe. If something killed them all and then went away, I gotta think it's some sort of winged creature, and I gotta protect against that. Bob and I have been speaking pretty much every morning and every night, and we've formed some sort of hybrid language. I basically speak in my language, and he kind of grunts back, but together we've been consistently expanding on the topics we can semi-fluently discuss. This morning, over a dino steak breakfast, Bob asked me about learning the ways of the arcane. I've been thinking once I leave this place to get my sweet revenge on my captors, he'll be here alone and, well, helpless. Maybe I could teach him a few basic spells. I spent the rest of the day building up this barn around all of my animals to protect them, and just thinking about Bob and his training. In truth, I've never actually had a student before, and at this point, I'm still quite intermediate myself, but I once was a great and powerful mage, and I suppose I could start to guide an apprentice. For just throwing together a roof really quickly over the course of only one day, the barn actually turned out to be kind of nice. I think it's going to be a good place for my animals to live. Should protect them, basically. I, instead of use glass to further reinforce the only ways in for monsters, I did use fence. It should keep them out, I think, and yeah, I feel like my animals are going to be safe. I made a kind of big decision today. If I'm going to be taking on an apprentice, I need a place to teach him. Additionally, I am quite tired of living in this tiny little house. I want something more fitting of a mage of my stature. I'm going to clear a large bit of land and begin construction this morning. Laying out a giant mansion slash school slash survival fortress with enough room to survive, fight monsters, and also live in some sort of luxury isn't as easy as it sounds. I don't want to make a mistake here, and I want to make sure I have enough room for all the rituals and teaching I'll be doing here. I have 25 more days here in this dimension to gain the rest of my power, as well as train Bob to be self-sufficient when I leave. There's no time to waste. I added dark oak floors to the place. Very fancy, right? My tree farm is actually good enough that I have quite a bit of dark oak sitting around, so I can actually start to use it for building. After that, I worked the rest of the day on building up walls and sort of a skeletal structure of how this house is going to be. Boy, it's weird. There's no squares, basically. It's all sort of random heights and random rooms, all set aside with sort of purposes in mind. And yeah, I'm going to have to work out some really interesting roof ideas to make this whole thing work. Day 76 here was spent building out more of the roof line, starting to add some second floor structure, and also planning out exactly where the bedrooms for my students are going to be. Did they say students? Yeah, maybe I have a plan on that. Building roofs all day long. All day. I have some windows too. I began the process of adding some interior design ideas to the house. I still haven't shown it to Bob, but I am very, very excited for him to see sort of his new workshop student house mansion thing that he's going to live in. I'm actually beginning to run low on resources. I can hardly believe it, honestly. The amount of spruce trees in particular that I've cut down to make this base, but, well, that's the situation. I do have my automatic tree farm, which is nice for slow passive tree growth, but I need to probably go on a scavenging run. I decided to take the day and go out exploring. I was just kind of feeling a little bit cooped up and wanted to get out of town, and sure enough, I found something awesome. A freaking redwood forest. Man, this is awesome. I wish I had known this was here about, I don't know, 80 days ago or so. But regardless, I used my sweet dig spell to basically take down these majestic trees in about 4 seconds if it weren't for their living tree protectors. I think these things are called Ents, and yeah, they're not hard, but they sure get old whenever about 8 of them spawn every time you're trying to cut down a tree. I spent a good deal of time today training Bob. He has a pretty good grasp on a dig spell, and I'm hoping he'll learn a decent attack spell soon as well. I want to finish the room in his mansion and get him moved in so we can spend even more time working together. I'm starting to run out of days. In 20 days, I should be powerful enough to return to my world and rain down punishment on those who sought to imprison me. I was continuing work on the mansion, and it started to rain. I checked my Oculus to see if I needed any more blue orbs, and I think I'm good for now. The only thing I really need is a bunch of red orbs, because I need to get in some advanced stuff. Now, I'm not going to get red orbs for free until I get to magic level 40, and that still ways off. So I may need to find a new way or a faster way to get some. I think I know how, but I'm not looking forward to it very much. After that, I started working on school, and when I say school, I mean an actual arcane school that I'm going to be building here over the next couple days. Bob can't be alone. It's not fair to him, and it's not safe for him either. Tomorrow, I have a surprise for a friend. Yeah, I said tomorrow, but I meant the next day. I keep finding more things I want to add to the mansion, and the constant onslaught of monster attacks, that's not helping either. Yes! This is so great! So much for Bob living a life of utter isolation. Using my mark and recall spell, I relocated a village to my mage academy. This small group of apprentices will someday rule this world. The last thing is to bring Bob out of his tiny little house. Yeah, let's make him wear a name tag just so I make sure I know who is who, and recall him to his new family. Look at him! He's so happy! Oh, Bob. I'm sitting here smiling like a butcher's dog. There's a lot of crafting that goes into this next step, so the idea is I need plenty of red orbs. You can get these by summoning a Winter Guardian, but that's not so easy. First, you can only summon him in winter biomes, and maybe only when it's snowing. I'm not actually sure. I can't remember that part. The nearest snowy area is quite far away, so the problem is if it starts raining here at the base, by the time I make the journey, even with the air sled, it's very likely going to be done raining by then. I'm going to construct 2 keystone gateways between my base and the winter area. They're quite expensive to make, requiring 12 ender pearls. Unfortunately, I have 13, and plenty of other materials, but additionally, they also need power. And not a big deal, but I'm going to need to do 2 more rituals of purification so that they're constantly powered during the daytime. I flew down to the winter area and made the other gateway, and it works. I can't believe it, kind of. I'm going to build a containment cage for this Winter Guardian. Yeah, I'm not kidding. This dude is really tough. After I work on the gateways, I had a long lecture with my students about various guardians and elements. I don't want one of them watching me kill these guardians and thinking that they can do the same. It's funny, I spend all this time getting the essences and building the gateways and powering everything up, and then I realize I have no pumpkins. I have like 3 pumpkins to my name, and it takes 3 pumpkins to summon this dude. So, yeah, I just gotta wait for pumpkins to grow. Holy crap. This is so painful. This dude will not die. Yeah, I got him summoned and contained and everything, and that's all fine, but oh man, I need a better spell. This takes forever. Literally an entire day of shooting this dude to get him dead. Oh man. I did it though. I returned home and I took my one juicy red orb and I plunked it in. I opened my Oculus and I got it. I got flight. I made the book and I guess I have a real issue here. I need more red orbs, so here we go again. By the time I got him dead, it was already day 91. I'm hoping I can make a flame shot and possibly take him out a lot faster. I wish I had that damage modifier. Oh, this is so much better! Flames take him down really fast, so I should be able to now summon him a few more times as long as my pumpkin supply holds out and get a bunch of red orbs. It's now officially a week before I go and return back to my captors, pay them a little visit. With my new flame spell, I think I should be ready. It's time to start building the portal. To draw enough power, I'm going to need to make a very large with a couple obelisks powering the entire thing up. It's going to take probably most of my remaining resources to complete this. And the portal is complete. I finished it today. It's not functional yet, but a structure should hold it in place. I took today off building and spent the entire time trying to instruct my students. I'm really running out of time and I'm worried about these guys. There are some important matters at hand. Formal education possibly isn't in my villagers' culture here, but thanks to Bob acting as kind of translator, I think some of the point is getting through, despite their inability to stand still for 2 seconds. I built the 2 obelisks needed to power the portal and turned them on, and well, we're ready to go. I can flip the switch at any point and power it on. I just need to do a couple more things before I leave this place. I finished off the walls properly by adding a good deal of fence, and you know, after my departure, I don't want any more nasties like ice spiders to harass Bob and his family. It's his family. I guess it's really my family too now. These people are such nitwits at times. They're difficult to teach, but I will miss them. There's another thing that has been annoying me over the last 98 days or so, and that is my nether portal. I need to keep it open so my students can go and gather what they need. There are some nether materials needed in the arcane, but the steady invasion of demon beasts is annoyance to me, but it could be deadly to them. I constructed a dark obelisk or a black aurum to protect them. Basically, anything that comes through that portal should be sucked up and destroyed and actually turned into Ethereum. And since I'll have a surplus of Ethereum nearby, why not set up a Kale Factor or 3 to smelt their ores and such for free? Well, today's the day. It is time. My students gathered to see me off. I think there were some who were sad to see me go. Some were worried about what would happen to them once their protector, their teacher, had left them. I can't explain what happened exactly. I was looking at the portal, envisioning my revenge, my rage at the people who imprisoned me in this place, and I just couldn't find that fire. I couldn't find the anger or the lust for revenge against those who did me wrong. Instead, there was worry. I worried for my people, the ones who followed me, who left their village to come here and build a better society under my teachings. I only need one more step forward to leave this place where monster attacks are the order of the day and where every single step forward is met with resistance and pain. And yet, I could not take that last step. I turned around and returned to my people. Maybe tomorrow, I thought. Maybe tomorrow I'll seek my revenge, but today, after 100 days in this place, we have a lot of work to do. Well, children, that's the way I remember it anyway. Oh, no, I don't regret it. We had so many things to build here, but maybe tomorrow I'll return home and give my captors a taste of my new abilities. But today, go practice your spells. We have a lot to do. I have made a huge decision. In order to teach my students more properly, I need a textbook, a kind of guide. I can't continue to be the one and only teacher for these men and women forever, and when they branch out and begin teaching the arcane to their own students, they're going to need some sort of book to follow. I'll be working through the guidebook as best I can, trying to find issues that I need to refine or change or make better before I hand it off to my assistants, Bob primarily. Many of the first lessons, or quests I suppose, are things that I've already taught them. I knocked them off the list quickly. Things like an Oculus, spell crafting table, crafting altar. It was when I went to knock out the quest to hold every Ars Magica item at once that I realized I was completely out of Desert Nova. Not a big deal. I know there's a desert close, and even though it was nighttime, I took to the sky in my air sled and headed out. While on my way to the desert, that's when I saw them. Yeah, those were mages from my realm. They're called the Black Flame, and they're kind of the secret police of the Mage Council. Why could they be here? I wondered if they were banished too, like me. Maybe they had done the council wrong. But I watched them shoot fire from their hands at a zombie, and no, they weren't stripped of their power. These guys were ready to go. I took the chance to surprise them and shot from above, making short work. At this point I can rather easily handle one or two Black Flame, but they usually come in numbers. Why would they be here on their own? Unless they were looking for me. I worked on knocking out some simple quests from the book today. I think all my students could pass this so far quickly, except for maybe be able to bone meal grass. We don't actually have any real means to get bone meal except risk life and limb fighting monsters at night. That's not great for novices. So I need to consider options soon. I have a few thoughts. I'll keep working and writing the book for now and see where it naturally leads. I had to run out of the village to find pigs to slaughter for more candles. I'm going to want to make a few more light obelisks soon, and it's going to be good to have some pig fat on hand. Ars Magica was the type of magic that I specialized in back at the academy. It's mostly an offensive and defensive action magic, but there are lots of different kinds of magic, and since I'm here by myself, I think maybe I'm going to take this opportunity to get into more of them. But let's do my school first. So it's only taken me 3 days to knock out most of the Ars Magica quests that I've written so far. There are a few that will require things I have in very low supply, such as my one Ender Pearl I'm unwilling to part with. That being said, I'm very happy with my progress through it so far. It only took me about 3 days. I expect it will take my students quite a bit longer. I'm going to get a good night's sleep tonight and then delve into probably the one magic I am most excited to learn about. I've always admired it from afar, but I wasn't allowed to study at the academy. Well, I guess I'm the headmaster now, and I'm changing the rules. I may already have my first issue with learning Thaumcraft. I can't find any crystals. I probably need to venture far, far away from my base and find some unexplored land to seek them out. And I'll do that tomorrow, but not today. I set up my Kale Factors to auto-smelt all the ores I bring back. Using the new flicker of focus of sorting, I can pull items out of one chest, insert them in my Kale Factor, and then export them from that into another chest. This is fantastic. I can feel my old knowledge of Ars Magica coming back faster than ever now that I'm actually writing it down in a book. I can't wait to get further. I returned from an all-day mining trip with tons of ores and stone, which is really good. I'm going to need a lot of stuff to really take this to the next level, but still, another day, no Thaumcraft crystals. I think I just need to go further. Look, that's okay. I don't mind doing some mining. It's fast, and filling up my inventory is just minutes. But I need some way to get the materials back to base so I can stay mining longer. Yeah, I've got to figure this out. Alright, I'm starting to think this may be a real issue. I mined all day long, and for the third consecutive day, I have found nothing. I think I just need to go far, far away, as in not walking distance to me. That brings up a good question, though. What am I going to do to get there and back? I need to sleep on this. This is a complex issue. I had a terribly close call. I traveled to the place where I had been killing the Frost Guardian and took my air sled just a bit south of the place I'd never been. I dug a hole deep down and started mining. I had just started, well, when this happened. Yeah, that was awfully close. I can usually kill these things by just backing up and shooting them, but I didn't have anywhere to back up, and this dude almost got me. Wow. I returned home by recall to unload my inventory. I managed to find a few shards on my way down, but not nearly enough. While I was there, I decided to upgrade the Kale Factor with 3 charge focus, which should actually make it quite a bit faster. That's cool. I don't know why I didn't really do that before, but regardless, it's chugging along now. With enough time left in the day, I decided to take one more trip back to the mining area and head back through the gateway. Yeah, that's when tragedy struck. It was dark and I had had trouble finding my mining hole, so I decided to use my mage lights and light it up. But I accidentally cast recall. I fell from my sled. I didn't die, but the sled just vanished. I recalled myself to home, hoping maybe it had been sent there too, but no luck. That was my only air sled. This is a tragedy. Not having an air sled is actually worse than just slowly walking. My only gateway to the far reaches of this land is on top of a giant mountain. I have an idea though. I can make a spell that will allow me to jump off the top and gently float to the ground. I hope it will carry me far enough that I'll be in the new area, but even if not, I do have haste running. It's pretty solid. Should be able to get there fast enough until I can gather the ender pearls for another gateway. It works fine. It's not great. I underestimated the sheer distance, so there's still a good bit of running, but whatever. This should be fine for now. I mined most of the night and got some Feather Touch Thaumcraft shards. Can't wait to get into this, hopefully tomorrow. I spent the first half of the day scanning stuff with my new thermometer. Pretty cool stuff here. As I look at stuff through the lens, I can see what it's made of, and later I'll be able to use this stuff to research even more stuff. Fantastic, really. After a good bit of scanning, I kind of hit a wall, so I made a research table and some scribing tools. With this, I can combine primary aspects to make lower tiered aspects. I made a few and then continued my scanning. Solid scanning day today. I remember so many times just watching the thaumaturges at school do their research. They would complain and complain, but it looked so interesting to me. I might be the only one, maybe the only one left in the entire history of Thaumcraft who really actually loves research. The only one. After a decent amount of research today, I went out to look for nodes. Since I've never had a thermometer before, I've never actually seen a node, but my friends at the Academy said they're all around us. I found a couple at night, and then this. Yeah, the council is definitely here. I guess they're not satisfied with the single black flame mages they've been sending. They sent a full group of armored mages flying their colors. This is really bad. I'm thinking about my students. I've been working on the book trying to teach them even the most basic of spells. If these guys find our village, they will kill everyone without hesitation. The council views me as tainted. They'll view any of my students as the same. I need to get home right away and make sure they're safe. With all the nodes I found in this world being very, very far and a real pain in the butt to get to, I want to heavily dive into research. My goal is to actually move the nodes back home as soon as I possibly can. It's funny, my entire outlook on this book has changed a bit since I saw those Mage Council warriors. I'm spending the nights with Bob training the other mages, but spending all of my days training myself. If I'm being realistic here, they're not going to be ready. Bob, maybe. He's been training with me the longest, but the others, they barely know the basics. If I'm going to be taking on the full force of the Mage Council, I'm going to need to be better than I ever imagined. I'll admit, when I think of them attacking my village, I do feel some pull of the dark. If I were to delve into blood magic just a bit, the magic that got me banned, I could probably... No. I can't go down that route. I can defend my people with Ars Magica. I know that from before, and the new Thaumcraft spells I'm learning now. I just need to work faster. There's a ticking deadline. I just don't know when it is. Well, children, that's the way I remember it anyway. Oh, no, I don't regret it. We had so many things to build here, but maybe tomorrow. maybe tomorrow I'll return home and give my captors a taste of my new abilities. But today, go practice your spells. We have a lot to do. I had that dream again. The one I'm sitting in the house many years after deciding to stay with my people. It fills me with hope and fear. I hope that maybe it's not a dream as much as a vision of the future, but also I fear that it won't take place. I fear I won't be able to grow the school and I won't be able to keep them safe. After 113 days in this prison dimension, everything changed. I found several small villages of people here, but today I traveled far south looking for nodes. And I found a city. It wasn't pristine, yeah, that's true, but it was huge. There had to be 30 to 40 villagers here, so city, maybe not a city, but huge and defensible. There were stone walls all around it, only a few gates. I don't know why. I've been thinking about moving all the nodes back to me, but maybe I should move me and my students to the nodes. It's a huge decision, but I saw more Mage Council warriors wandering around, I assume looking for me. I need to go all in on defense. Tomorrow, I'll return home and break the news to my students. After sleeping here in my new city, I changed my mind. The people here are a bit standoffish. I did nearly kill 15 monsters outside their walls, so I think they feel I'm at least somewhat on their side. Thanks to Bob, I know some of their language. I did try to communicate that I'm here to help, but I was met with some skepticism. I was going to go all the way home, but I thought better of it. If I'm for sure that I'm moving here, I should just move my gateway. I spent a good deal of time gathering a lot of stone and materials so that I could have some sort of storage place here inside the city walls. After setting up the gateway and activating it, it didn't work. Not at all. Seems that the distance is a lot further and it's going to require a lot more essence to actually charge. So I did what I didn't want to do. I ran the entire way home. No air sled, so I just ran. I just ran and ran. It's very far. It took the entire day. I'm such an idiot. After messing around with this gateway for an entire day trying to get it to charge, I realized that I put in the keystone receptacle facing down and not sideways. So, yeah, as soon as I put it in the right way and charged it up just a little bit, it actually fired up. So it's going to work. It just needs to get enough power to actually send me that distance. Yeah. It works. After it charged for a little while, I did some mining and the gateway connected. I made 2 trips back and forth bringing all my stuff. I have a plan to build here that will be perfect for both me and my students and also for the people of the city. I just need them to not come looking for me for a little while longer. I need to buy a little bit of time. I flattened a bunch of land near my storage building in the new city and started laying out my castle? Yeah, I think castle. It's going to be big and stone and full of defenses for when the council comes to visit. We'll have lots of room for all my students as well as any new recruits from this new city. We'll have plenty of training room as well. If there's one regret I have from the school in our old village is it wasn't big enough and wasn't really defensible at all. I didn't think we'd need to defend against other humans. Monsters, sure, regular walls are fine for that, but humans have flame spells and maybe building out of wood wasn't so smart after all. I need to get back to the book soon. This has to take priority though. I have the first part of the castle laid out. I spent a large part of the day just putting in floors so I can start getting things in the right rooms. My main focus will be Thaumcraft and Ars Magica, obviously, but I want to have lots of room for my students to do their studies as well. There will definitely be a phase 2 of this build. After another 2 trips back and forth, I'm starting to get settled in. One of the new city villagers came up to talk today. He was very nervous. I think he was trying to tell me about something about a dark obelisk outside the walls and how the villagers are scared. He was asking me to take a look at it, I believe. I actually managed to get walls up today. I really wish I had an AoE non-feather touch dig spell. I'm actually running low on cobblestone. I'm just hurrying so much so I can get back to Thaumcraft and the book as soon as I possibly can. I made another light obelisk with the ritual of purification next to my new crafting altar. This place is just going to be so great. I spent the first 100 days I was in this prison dimension all cooped up in one small little house, and now I actually have enough room to spread out and do my thing. Wonderful. I spent the evening working outside of the castle adding supports. If our outer city walls are breached, I want to have a good secondary set of strong walls to keep any monsters or mages out. My main focus right now has to be getting our students here to our new home. Right now, they are mostly defenseless, except for whatever small abilities Bob has to protect them. I checked on them today, and they're all okay, still studying hard, but I worry. Adding a second floor to this castle is absolutely clutch. My students are going to be housed up on the second or even maybe third floor to keep them as far away from any monsters that could wander in as I possibly can. I need to move quickly. I started planting lots of spruce trees around. They grow quickly and produce a lot of wood from their huge 2x2 meter trees. I need a new spell. Actually, I need 2 new spells. First, I want a quick way to gather obsidian, so I'm going to create a mining power spell. Projectile, dig, mining power. This should give me the ability to break obsidian instantly. I don't think there's any need to add AoE at this point. I had to set up my mana battery and essence refiner to make an earth essence. Pretty easy stuff. I just did dirt, 2 stone, and obsidian with 1 arcane ash, and boom. I'm getting there. I gathered everything I need without having to return to our old home. That's pretty big progress. Things are starting to settle in here. I feel like maybe this is where I actually live. I made the spell, and it didn't unlock prosperity. That's actually what I really wanted. Nothing. I made a mistake. After some research, I left out Feather Touch from my spell, so I actually need to make it again. A complete waste of time and resources. I had to spend the entire day gathering resources for this new spell. Can't even believe it. I had to make a new Earth Essence, not a big deal, but I need an Air Essence, which I have plenty of from my many fights with the Air Guardian. Okay, well that's one good thing. I got it! With prosperity, I can make an awesome dig spell that will double or even triple the ores that I get when I'm underground. Boom, baby. This is fantastic. Now, it is an expensive spell, but I think I have the materials to pull it off. The only thing I'm very short on is gunpowder for the TNT required, so I actually spent some time down in the caves hunting creepers. It's a little crazy down there. I need to spend some real effort to light these things up. Yeah, fun stuff, right? The Nether's awesome. I need some air essences, so I returned to take on my old base and went up to the tower. After a few minutes of summoning the Air Guardian, I went from 3 essences to 11, but here's the big news. I got a new air sled. Flight is mine again. Today was a day of triumphs and failures. I made the 3 base essence cores required for my awesome Fortune AoE dig spell, then made the spell, and it is amazing. Where 1 coal used to give me 1 coal piece, now it can range between 1 and 3. The same should apply to diamonds, blue topaz, and most importantly, the rarest of all ores, moonstone. Then, in my joy at having made this very difficult spell, I took my first ride on my new air sled to survey the city. I noticed a small fire, and in the time it took me to get down there, several villagers had been set on fire by some sort of terrible flame demon. The fire just kept on spawning more demons. It seemed like I had to put it out as fast as I could. I fought all of them off and we lost 1 house, but more importantly, we lost 2 villagers. I couldn't save them. My heal spell was only set to self. I don't have a projectile heal. In my arrogance, I didn't even consider it. The villagers won't even look at me. I don't know if they blame me. The thing is, I don't know if I blame me either. I spent the day trying to get my head right. I have amazing amounts of stone and cobblestone now just from mining, and so I began work on the second floor of the castle. There's so much to do. I want new spells I need to build so I can relocate my students, who I've been completely neglecting. I need to delve so much more into Thaumcraft. I've barely scratched the surface. I think, though, in the end, defenses against the monsters here, as well as roving bands of the council's mages, has to come first. The reality is we lost 2 people. I don't know that the people in this city were starting to trust me or not, but after losing 2 of theirs, I'm sure they don't. This world is hard, and it needs a hard person to protect them. I need to be stronger. This castle is going to be awesome, I hope. I was a master of the arcane in my previous life, not a master of building huge epic castles, but I think this is going to be good. The thing is, it's kind of a race against time more than anything else. If I had all the time I wanted to find different color combinations or other shapes, the thing is, I could be discovered at any point. This castle will be great, but more than anything, it will be safe. Probably. The 3rd floor of the castle is done, and I need a break from building. I feel really good about where we're at, but I want to get back into Thaumcraft research and finally get some new powers. I left the city for 2 things today. I need sand to start growing a decent amount of sugarcane here, and I need wool. It's time to bring my students. I think they need to pick up the pace on their studies, and I need to pay more close attention to them. Bob has been doing a great job this last month passing on the things I've taught him, but I think they need a real master teacher, and I think Bob might need a break. They're here. I recall them all to the 3rd floor where they'll be living and studying. During the day, they'll have full use of Ars Magica and later Thaumcraft tools in the castle, but at night, I think they can reasonably be safe here up on the 3rd floor. Bob is super happy about the giant stone walls. I've settled on one of Bob's best students, Earl, to work on, well, public relations with the villagers in this new city. I'm hopeful some might express a desire to learn the arcane at my school and eventually join our ranks. We can use all the firepower we can get. There are about 5,000 things I need to be doing, and yet I spent the entire day putting iron bars on the castle for windows. Instead of glass in this terrible place, glass just doesn't seem like a viable option or a barrier of any kind to these horrible beasts that attack us both day and night. Iron bars seem to feel just about right. I sure hope my students appreciate the sunlight coming into their room. Also, I finished the tower part of the castle. It's coming along. It's a little bland, a little boring, but it's coming along. I made a new spell today. It's called Projectile Create Water. Look, I don't really need it, to be honest, but I want to move some farms around, and it would be great to have water on command, and after all, I'm a mage. Doesn't look right to have a mage, powerful master of the arcane, carrying buckets around. Also, I am still thinking about defense, and I don't want monsters trampling our crops. We need to put up some sort of wall or something around the fragile farmland that we have so far. My goodness, finding nodes is tedious business. I need a better system. I want to make a good Greatwood wand next. It can hold double the V. Is it V? Viz? Vice? Let's call it V. But that also means it will require double the nodes to charge it up. I searched most of the day and night and found exactly 1 node. Cool. I need to learn how to bring nodes home. This is insane. Everything is so slow with them all over the place. In my research today, I learned how to make a node in a jar. That's going to be great. But there's a problem. Because of course there's a problem. I need 70 V per aspect just to do it once. My max wand only holds 50. I made 3 pieces of Thaumaturge robe today. They do grant a discount, and I'm hoping that I can use that discount to maybe get a little bit more done. I was out in the desert harvesting sand, and I got caught in quicksand, of all things. Okay, universe, I get it. I get it. Time to go home. I worked more on wands today and made some goggles of revealing. These are going to be great for finding nodes more easily while out in the wild. My main focus here needs to be a silverwood wand. To do that, I need 2 major thaumic machines. One is a crafting altar to actually make the silverwood wand core, and the other is a basic alchemy setup. I'm not sure which I'm most nervous about, but it's fair to say both. I searched so long and hard for a single Ordo node and came up short. Nothing. I really can't do anything without one, so I'm going to have to look again tomorrow. Without an Ordo node, I'm stuck. I was out exploring again, and I ran across something odd. The ground was all purple and, oh my goodness, you know what? This is taint. I remember hearing fellow students at the academy talk about it and their fears. Taint can come from Thaumcraft, and it's a constant struggle to outrace becoming more powerful in Thaumic Arcane versus becoming tainted. How did I completely forget about Taint? This could be bad. After searching for an entire day, at the very end, I found one single 25 Ordo node and tapped it. It's in a winter biome and it's very far away. That'll be the first node I bring home once I get my Silverwood wand made. At least I don't have to walk home. That would be the worst. Alright then, it's time to start crafting. I made a crucible and surrounded it with stone. I'd hate for my entire floor to catch fire while I'm making my first real Thaumcraft craft. I put a heat source under it and threw in some great wood logs, then some iron nuggets, and boom, we have Thaumium. This is going to cap my new wand. I almost made a terrible mistake. I was just about to start crafting the Silverwood wand because the wand I really want still wasn't unlocked in my research. And then I checked one last time, and there it was. The Witchwood wand. Somehow I unlocked it during all my research and searching for nodes. This is going to be a life changer. This wand is amazing. Since I'm already decently skilled at Ars Magica, I can actually use my mana to recharge my wand. I won't ever need to go node hunting again. The only thing it takes to craft is all the elemental essences and some essentia. That's fantastic. I actually gathered most of that stuff for the Silverwood wand. Today's the day that everything turns around. I got a good start on alchemy today. I set up some essentia collecting jars and began collecting the items I'm going to need to craft this beastly wand. It's a little more complex than maybe I was prepared for at first, but I think I'm starting to get a handle on it. Mostly, I just want to craft this wand before I have to go out and look for more nodes. Honestly, not searching for nodes is turning into my entire life goal. More alchemy today. I'm getting there. It's kind of painful at first, but I know I'll be able to heavily automate this in the near future. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. I think it should be ready by maybe tomorrow. I cannot believe what a feeling this is. I've watched thaumaturges at the Academy do this countless times, but to actually do it myself, and not only that, but to be getting an item that I desperately need, oh, this is amazing. What a machine. I got my wand core and I was so happy I took a running leap through the village, and that's when I was attacked by some sort of flaming demon beast. There were a few of them, but that's not the biggest problem. There were no villagers standing around. I had a sinking feeling in my gut. Not again. In the village, there was fire damage everywhere. They had been attacked. I've been so busy crafting and growing my Thaumic power, something came at them and I wasn't there. I looked around. A decent part of the city had been burned. When I asked what happened, they described to the best of their ability what had to be a mage. Maybe the council had found me. Our time may be out. I decided right then and there, I'm not going to wait for them to come to me. It's time to take charge. I talked to Bob and we decided to bring them all in for their own safety. I recalled all of the villagers to my third floor at once. I'll work on expanding their space later. Some of them were not pleased at my decision, but few were down to half a heart. It had to be done. Yesterday was quite a blow. To go from such a high to such a low, and having moved the students in, I feel at least we've settled on a path. I stayed up much of the night talking to them and explaining. Bob is my translator because my villager speak is still not great. We explained that if they stay out there, they will eventually be attacked. They know about the monsters in this place and have been dealing with them for generations, but they don't know about other mages. I explained they're much worse than the fiercest of monsters here, but I don't know if they believe me. It wasn't until Bob explained that as great and powerful as I am, the power they've seen me display in defense of the city, as great as that is, I was still banished here and stripped of my abilities. I believe the people who sent me here are coming here to finish me, and any who follow me. At first they wanted me to leave. I struggled to explain, if I go, that won't matter at all. The council will come back here and burn this place to the ground. They'll view people here as infected with my teachings. I don't know if they understood, but I hope so. Regardless if they follow me or not, I put the city in danger by coming here, and I will defend it to the end. Yesterday I was just about to craft my Witchwood wand, and I discovered that it takes a whole lot of V to actually make the wand with the caps. So I had to make a crafting scepter. If this works right, and I think it will, I should be able to skip the Silverwood wand altogether. That would be great. I made a Great Wood wand with 3 gold caps that can actually hold 75 V. That's the cost to make my Ars Magica wand, so with my 10% discount for my robes, I should be on easy street. I filled it all up except for Terra, so I'll have to head out and get that in the morning. Solid day today.
Do you think us so foolish?
Why? Why are you here? You banished me. Leave me be.
We took your power, and yet you could not leave well enough alone. We watched you regain some of your abilities and allowed it. But now you have taken apprentices? You? The one who has been banished for his crimes? This is forbidden, as you well know.
No, this is not right. These people would be destroyed. They can't defend themselves.
These people? Who do you think these people are?
I don't...
They are but descendants of banished mages from ages ago. They cannot be allowed to learn the arcane. The dark abilities flow through their blood just as it did their ancestors. Just as it does you.
No, they aren't dark. I've renounced blood magic. I won't teach them any.
It is too late. You have broken the agreement.
I made no agreement. I made no agreement.
It was made for you when we stripped you of your abilities. Enough! You and the bloodline of the banished will be destroyed. Sentence will be carried out in 50 days.
I made my Witchwood wand today. I had a dream, but I don't think it was a dream last night. I think it was a real message from the council, and I think we have about 50 days left. I don't know what I'm going to tell the people. I slept on it, and I feel a little bit better here the next day. I have about 50 days, 49 days, to prepare my army, I guess. That's what it's going to have to be. They have to be drafted. This is all my fault. If I never came here, maybe this city at least would be safe from the council. Maybe only me and my few students would face their rage, but now it's too late. They're coming. We have to be ready. I made some paving stones of warding for inside my castle, just to section off hallways and different rooms. I am kind of sick and tired of being attacked while I'm crafting, and these things will keep pretty much any monster out, I think. I think even the flying ones should work against them. I am just about out of Ordo shards, so I need to mine. I believe they form mostly on ice or frost biomes, so I flew my air slide out to the one I discovered while node searching and mined all night long. I left thousands, maybe millions of cobblestone just laying on the ground, but I'm really only after one thing. I'll take the diamonds as well, I suppose. I broke away from Thaumcraft for a little while today just to work on the city. I want to tidy up the roads and make sure there aren't any jumps. I'd like there to be at least stairs or slopes going up all the roads and everything. I want to make sure that after we defeat the council mages, that's right, after. I don't plan on dying in this upcoming attack. After we defeat them, I want to make sure that we have a city that is worth living in. I didn't do a lot today. I think I'm just, I don't know. I'm a mix. I'm worried about the council. I'm worried my students aren't learning fast enough. I'm run down on fighting monsters every single minute of every single day. I need real progress here. I don't know. I'm just discouraged. I decided part of the reason why I'm down about this whole thing is because of the overwhelming size of some of the projects I want to do. In addition to the council sending their forces against me in only a few weeks. Today I did a small thing, but that one thing will help a lot. I built an infernal furnace. This thing is super cool. It will smelt items for free, additionally occasionally giving extra nuggets. It's not exactly doubling my ores, which is possible in Thaumcraft, but I'm not quite there yet. I have a lot of ores, and more than I'll ever need, to be honest. Mining is insanely fast. Even if I run out, I can mine up as much iron as I possibly need in about 1 minute. I attached a couple bellows to make it a bit faster, plus they look super cool. Nice. I added a hopper, item grate, and chest on top of the furnace just to drop all my iron and gold in after a mining session. This should be super easy. In fact, I could actually even make it easier. I have some thoughts, but that'll come later. After that, it was a big research day. I'm trying to find my way to better armor. I love my Ars Magica mage armor, but for a real battle, I might need something more, stronger. And I believe there is such armor in Thaumcraft. I just need to find a way to get to it in research. I've mostly abandoned my book for my students. I want to come back to it, honestly. It's just taken a backseat to the impending attack. After we beat the Council's attack, I'll dig back into the book in earnest. I really do want to get into alchemy a lot more, so I set up 4 alchemical furnaces today, along with 2 alembics each, up in the 2nd floor. I think this is going to be an easy solution to my essentia crafting. Eventually, I will probably need to build some sort of building just to house all of it, but for right now, I think these 4 should help speed me along my way. The thing I have to figure out is how to get coal or another heat source up through the bottom of the furnace. It's not like hoppers go up. I have one thought. I had 2 large breakthroughs today. First, my old skills in Ars Magica came to the rescue. I can use flicker item transport to get coal up through the bottom of the furnaces. Boom. Easy. Coal isn't my forever solution, but for right now, it's automated and it works. Secondly, for quality of life as much as Thaumcraft research, I just learned now, after 58 days of this, I can scan items while in my inventory. Hi. What a complete lifesaver. I really wish I had known this a long time ago, but I just got a ton of research points today by scanning literally every item I own in all of my chests. I want to fly. I mean, the air sled is awesome, but if I'm in serious combat for a long while, I need real flight. And the only way to get that is with a Wither Star. That's a tall order, but it's time. So with that in mind, I crafted a new attack spell. Lightning with 3 prosperity enhancements. This is like looting 3 for a spell and should help me get some Wither Skulls soonish, I hope. Oh yes, I spent the entire day in the Nether with my prosperity spell looking for just a single Wither Skeleton skull. With just 1, I can actually make something that's going to make them drop a lot more commonly, but I need 1 first. Yeah, no luck, but a really stress-free day living here in the Nether. Really relaxing. It's like a spa. Day 2 in the Nether. Nothing. It's kind of amazing, though, actually. No near-death experiences. Just grind. No luck again. I'm going to return home and figure something else out, because this isn't working, but I want flight. I made 2 discoveries today back home doing some research. First, the dismembering spell that I was planning on using from Ars Magica actually requires 3 Wither Skeleton skulls just to make the spell in order to get more. But Thaumcraft has a better solution. There is something called a Axe of the Skull Taker, and with that, I can get somewhere around a 15% chance of actually getting a Wither Skull whenever I kill one. That's not bad, but the biggest thing is this axe only requires 1 Wither Skull to make. So that's what I want to do. I finished up the research, but yeah, I gotta head back to the Nether. I got it! Holy cow, what a grind just for 1 skull, but I got it. With this, the possibilities are endless. This Axe of the Skull Taker is a rather complicated infusing recipe, so I spent the entire day basically just breaking things down into their liquid essentia form, and yeah, I'm pretty close. It requires 4 different essentias. 3 aren't a big deal. I'm actually in need void jars just to get rid of the excess, but 1 is a little bit more complicated, but that's okay. TNT, again, is my holdup. Luckily, I actually got a good bit of TNT in the Nether just from killing those floating, flaming skull things that constantly attack you. Yeah, so cool. I'm glad those are around. I did it! I got it! It took some Era, Infernus, and Tellum, but I got it. Oh, heads are going to roll. Okay, this axe is awesome. It only took about 20 kills or so, and I got all 3 skulls. Hooray! I celebrated quietly and quickly zipped right back to the portal. I'm not messing around the Nether any more than I need to. I'm more than just a little bit nervous about fighting the Wither, so I did some more Thaumcraft research. There is such thing as warded glass that I believe, and I'm not 100% on this, I believe it will trap the Wither inside. I think it's worth it to give that a go, so I spent today making as much as I could until I ran out of zombie brains. Yeah, you need zombie brains to create glass. That makes sense. So at nighttime, I went out and hunted as many zombies as I could. I finished the night with 9 brains. I don't think that's quite enough for the amount of warded glass that I'm going to need, so I spent the day harvesting sand, smelting a ton of glass, and just kind of waited for night so I could do it again. I'll admit, spending the night killing zombies is kind of fun, but I have to watch myself. I don't want to slip back into the dark arts. Killing beasts and monsters is a necessity of life here, but if it becomes fun, yeah, I can almost feel my bloodlust returning, and I won't. I can't go there ever again. I did it! Okay, look, this might not be my most proud moment of my mage life, but in the end, I beat him, and really, truly, that's all that really counts. Maybe when I retell this story to my grandchildren, I will leave out the witherproof cage. But hey, you know what? I got a nether star, and that means I can craft flight. I'll be honest, I want to make my flight spell right now, but if I'm going to do it, I want to do it right. So that means I want to do a duration 3 modifier on it. And that means I need 3 more red skill points. And that means I need to go find the Winter Guardian place. So first I'm going to stop by our old village and get some pumpkins so I can summon him. Yeah, I seem to have lost my Winter Guardian summoning platform. This dude can only be summoned in an area with snow, so like extreme hills or a high mountain or something like that. And yeah, I can't find it. I guess I could make a new one, but I know it's around here somewhere, and I have spent the entire day looking for it. If you remember, I moved my gateway, and so now I don't have an easy way to get there. So, yeah, I thought I could just track it down, but I can't, apparently. It took me almost the entire second day to find my summoning platform. I finally did it, and I summoned and killed him 3 more times. Not too hard. This fire spell is great. This may be the biggest day since my trial. I got it. I got flight. I'm so glad I took the extra time to get the duration 3. This spell will last for nearly 7 minutes before I need to recast it. That is just awesome. There is a spell I'm definitely going to need if I'm going against other mages. Dispel is a requirement in a good magic fight. Anything that casts me, I can simply dispel. The downside is it will dispel my flight or regen spells as well, but whatever. I can simply recast that. I started my day by talking to Bob. Well, trying to. He was a little distant. I showed him my flight spell and promised I'd teach it to him as soon as he was ready. I asked him to take on even more of the teaching. Well, most of the teaching, in fact. We only have 25 days until the council attacks, and I need to spend all of my time preparing. Spent the rest of the day working on the roads in town. I want everything to be lined up so we can navigate through the town quickly, depending on whether we're attacking or defending or running or whatever. I want to be ready. You know what I'm sick and tired of? Is walking out my front door and having a creeper fall down on my head because it's up on one of the roofs of these houses. So yeah, these houses got to go. I want clear sight lines whenever I leave my place to know if someone's out there, if someone's attacking or whatever. I want to have a nice empty field right next to my front door. Okay? Cool. So these houses got to go. I need amber. I need a lot of amber, actually. I mined all day long and all night long, and I got a ton of material. Like, I can't even believe how much materials, but only about 25 amber, and that's with my Prosperity 3 spell. It's enough for a few of what I'm after next, but I'm probably going to have to mine again. This is going to up the safety of our little civilization here about 1,000,000,000%. In my Thaumcraft research, I learned about some sort of lantern made with amber. That's why I wanted it all. This lantern lights up a huge area. So my thinking is I'll make a bunch of these lanterns, put them all over the town, not just in my castle, but I'm talking every bit of this entire city. Should keep all the monsters, and if the mages do come, I should be able to actually see them if they attack at night. This is going to be a big net win, and who knows, I might be able to let my students leave our little castle area here. I spent the whole day making more night ore, at least for as much essentia as I had on hand, and then I spent the whole night down in the mines mining up more amber. I really want to light up my entire city. It would be so nice to not have to worry about the constant monsters just dropping off roofs, coming around the corner, in every pit, in every hole, in every dark house. Yeah, it'd be really, really nice. It was research day today. With the council arriving in only 19 more days, I have to pour my time into protection. I think my Ars Magica offensive spells are probably good, so I'm more concerned with, well, being alive. So I'm hoping Thaumcraft has some answers. I researched a lot of stuff about runic shielding. From what I understand, well, it's a shield that takes the brunt of the attack before you actually take any damage. That sounds pretty good to me. But first, I need to automate a few things. Yeah, I'm going to need more space. The more I read about this and the more I think about how exactly I want to set up everything, the more I realize that as big as my castle is, well, it's not big enough. So, I have a whole second floor. The problem is the footprint is a little oddly shaped, and I want something that's kind of square, to be honest. Kind of boring, but big enough to put all my essentia right next to each other and allow a golem to actually operate. I leveled the houses outside and flattened the land, and I should be good to expand tomorrow morning. Now that I got my new altar area set up, I realize now really how cramped I really was. This is much, much better. I'm going to be able to surround this altar with essentia jars and really just have one-step crafting. Dump my materials to be broken down into one chest and wait a few moments and then craft whatever I need to on the altar. Very cool. I'm still gathering materials for these golems. My plan is to have 2 of them running at all times to help speed production. I figure it's faster to make 2 now than 1 now and add later 1 more. Eventually, I do want to have this all fully automated, but for right now, I have more pressing matters to attend to. After a rather chaotic craft, I got it. Oh, geez. I didn't double check all my essences and I was 1 short. I managed to get it quickly enough that it didn't completely ruin my entire thing or explode or anything. And yeah, wow, that was really close. I've got to double check stuff. Oh yes, the golems are working perfectly. This is just so great. Every time I need essentia, I can just drop it in and almost instantly craft whatever I want. Hooray indeed. It was a building day today. I am planning on building a building around my golems instead of putting the golems in a building, I guess. No matter what happens in about 12 days, I want to protect these things and my entire essentia production. They're a plan to automate the future of my life here, and I'm assuming that I'm going to have a future of life here. I'm not planning on dying, so with that in mind, I really want to make sure that everything is safe from the upcoming attack. I spent the day adding a better roof onto the new compound extension, as well as adding supports to the walls. I also want to level out some more of the ground for some upcoming farms here. I don't know if we're going to get to this before the attack comes, but let's have it ready so whenever I do have a free day, I can actually add some golems now that my production is fairly streamlined. Today was another material gathering day. I decided with only 10 days left, I really want all 4 pieces of runic shielding. I really don't know how big of a fight I'm in for here. Of course, I don't expect the council to come themselves, but will they send a detachment? Will they send a full army? Will they send monsters? Who knows? They're capable of a lot of terrible things. I'm not as worried about my offense as I am my defense at the moment, so I really do think having all 4 pieces of my shield will be invaluable. I got my first ring. It's a pretty messy craft. I really have got to figure out how to cut down on all the warp generating on these crafts. I don't think these are even extremely high unstable crafts. I don't know. Maybe I could add some crystals or skulls or something around here that would help. I made a bunch of crystals and added them overhead of the altar, and I think it had the right effect, because I made the runic shield necklace with no warp effects at all, so that was super nice. One more day of this and I should have the belt done and my full 4-piece runic shield. Sweet. Boom, baby. All 4 pieces of runic shielding are done. With a week to spare, I'm in good shape. Tonight I'm going to go check in with my students and my friend Bob. It's been a long time. Weeks, actually, since we've talked, and I want to see how things are going. I visited with my students for a good while last night, and it was, I don't know, different. They call Bob Master now, as they should. He is the one teaching them, but last night, I don't know, I'm probably hearing things, but I felt it was a different tone when they called me Master. Maybe, they're probably just worried, you know? They're probably just worried like I am. The council is coming, there is an impending attack. I'm sure it's nothing. Bob did tell me they've been making good progress and should be able to help me fight, which honestly is more than I expected. That's good. That's really good. I made 2 straw golems, and 2 harvest cores. I think if I can upgrade these guys, they will plant and harvest all the crops near wherever I put them down. I think that with this upgrade, they'll actually replant as well, but I'm not actually 100% sure on that. Golems in, crops planted, and upgrades installed. With this entropy shard upgrade, I do believe this is what I need to make them replant, but I'm going to have to wait until the crops actually grow to see if they get harvested. We'll see if that happens over the next 4 days. I put magic brooms over each farm, and that should sweep up all of the crops. These guys, they don't put stuff back in inventories, they just sort of throw them on the ground, and that's okay. I got Ars Magica solution for that. I worked on a proper healing spell. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this in time. I need eggs for it. 9, actually. So I spent the whole day gathering chickens to recall back to my base. I got some suffocated in the wall whenever I recalled them a little too close. But I got a couple eggs so far. I don't know if I'm going to get 9. These guys need to hurry up and lay some eggs. Still waiting on eggs, so I worked on the farms and leveling the land a bit more. It would suck to be in the fight of my life only to fall in a hole or something. Tomorrow is my last day before the fight, and I want to spend it with my students and my good friend Bob. Just before dinner time, where we're all going to eat together as a family, I made my healing spell. The chickens laid their last egg, and it is really awesome. I made one other little surprise, just in case things go south. I feel really good about my chance against the Black Flame, or whoever the council sends against me. I gave my students very clear instructions on what to do, and then I spent the rest of the night in quiet preparation. They're coming for me and my family tomorrow. It wasn't long before I heard them. My students are all upstairs. Any noise coming from outside, well, I knew it was them. I battled the council's mages throughout the day, but when night fell, they sent something different at me. They sent these zombies in such mass that I almost ran out of mana a few different times. These zombies were tough. And not only were they tough, but they grew bigger the more I hit them. Yeah, I handled them, but there were a couple scary moments. I don't know how the council did it, but somehow they got the Ender Guardian to join them. It was there, in my city. I tried to take a stab at it, but I think I knew all along I didn't really have a chance. It was time for me to go. I recalled to my workshop and went upstairs to my newly constructed gateway. This was my emergency backup plan. I told my students if things went sideways, if they did call a boss or a mega monster, they should just go through the gateway to the old town and we would regroup there. Hopefully the council wouldn't expect it. But that's when things went sideways. Our gateway was completely drained of power. I checked and double checked this thing before going to sleep last night, and I know that there was lots of power. I don't know how this happened, so I had to make a run for it. I ran out of the somewhat safety of my castle only to see dawn had broken. Been fighting for a day and a night. I ran to the church and activated the gateway. Somehow I made it before the Ender Guardian caught up to me. I activated the gateway and dove through. I came out of the gateway, not in my old village, surrounded by my students and my friend, but in a cell. There's no other answer I could see. They had captured me. Again. It was Bob, my oldest friend. I asked him how he did it, though it was easy enough to figure out. If anyone had my gateway key, they could have repositioned it to spit me out anywhere in the entire universe. I didn't think that I needed to hide it from my students. But why? We had a plan. He explained how I had abandoned them, abandoned him. How I had just left him to do the teaching while I trained on my own. He and the students were in so much fear of the council, and they didn't trust me to protect them. As it turned out, maybe he was right. Maybe they all were. I tried explaining, but it was done. Bob had cut a deal. He apologized to me for what it was worth, and he portaled away. I was alone, banished again. Though, perhaps my turn away from the dark arts was not total and complete. Perhaps my rage at the council, my rage at Bob, perhaps I could find that spark again if I just reached deep enough. That dark spark. Oh, yes. Yes. There it is.
Okay, let me tell you what's going on. We're here at Nox Studios. Our team here at FNN contacted a former NASA employee to do a short interview about some of his projects. It didn't take long to realize that this gentleman has a lot to say about a lot more than just what he did at NASA. So, could you tell us again why you called?
Well, yes, I guess I called to tell you my story. It's probably going to sound pretty fantastic, but, well, I assure you every word is the truth.
Why don't you start from the beginning?
The beginning. Well, maybe it'd be better if I start halfway and then we'll circle back.
Okay, it's your story.
Well, yes, I guess it is, I suppose. I'll start with my betrayal. I had a great friend once. He found me living in a modest village. All the people of my village were killed in a brutal monster attack, and he took me in. Then he began to train me in the arcane arts. He was a good master and fine teacher. Eventually we took in more students, and I was his assistant. It was a good time of my life. So exciting, learning new spells each day.
I'm sorry, spells as in magic?
Yes, magic. Magic and a great many other things in this world and others are very real, my dear. I'll tell you my whole story. It's a long one, though. My name is Bob, and I've had quite a life.
After the business of betraying my master was done, the council brought me before them. I was judged guilty because I learned magic from a banished one. Because I gave up my master, I was allowed to live, and granted the same fate as the one I betrayed. I appeared on the strangest planet I could ever imagine. Well, there was no real planet, just a very small floating island over a void. Yet there seemed to be gravity and an atmosphere. It was kind of beautiful. It seems the council had learned its lesson. After banishing my master on a planet ripe with resources that allowed him to regain his arcane abilities, it seems I've been sent to a place with nothing. Literally nothing. A small platform floating in a void. I reached for my magic and, yeah, it was gone. I was alone in this place with nothing. Before I was pushed through the portal, the eldest member of the council shoved a small book in my robe. I opened my mouth to say something, but he just shook his head. Seems he gave me a book on how to survive in this place. At least, maybe one how to create life. Under the grass blocks that I appeared on, I found some living root. I broke that, and sure enough, I could get a sapling from it. With a sapling, I could maybe grow a tree, and with the tree, maybe apples and maybe more things. At least, maybe I won't starve. The book told me to search the ground for little pebbles that I could craft into cobblestone, and sure enough, it worked. I just hit it with an empty hand, and I get cobblestone. That's pretty nice. I was able to get enough that I could make a small platform around to hopefully catch all saplings. If I lose all the saplings from a tree, well, I might be in big trouble. As the sun started to set, I started to get a little bit nervous. Remember, I came from a planet filled to the brink with terrible monsters that came out at night. Now, the old mage's book told me to make something called a dark room, and with that I can get monsters to spawn only within that room. I don't know where they're coming from, and I don't really want to ask, but yeah, I started constructing a dark room already here on day one. I made my dark room, and yeah, it was a total bust. I don't really know how these things work. After a full day and night, I got no monsters whatsoever. Now, I did spend the entire day expanding my platform a little bit and harvesting a ton of oak, so not all was lost, but yeah, so far, no luck. Since my darkroom didn't work, I decided to take it all down and build one a little bit further away from my platform. Maybe I'm too close to bring the monsters in or something. I don't know. But regardless, this one, sure enough, did work. Once night fell and no sort of extra light could get in, yeah, I got monsters. Some of the same monsters from my old world. Some skeletons, creepers, even an enderman appeared. That's not too bad. Somehow the book knows when I have the requirements to move on to the next task. It's kind of a questing system, I suppose. So I spent a lot of time sitting and waiting and harvesting oak and looking at my darkroom today. According to the book, if I kill 5 skeletons, creepers, zombies, 1 witch, and 1 enderman, I will complete the task and get a little reward. Where's that reward come from? I don't know. I just get it. Somehow after I complete a task, I get a reward. This mage, it was trying to help me. I don't know why, but she was. Well, regardless, I had a lot of time today to really just think. A lot of time to think is not really an ideal thing for me right now. When I think back and I remember the way that I treated my master, the man who took me in when I was the last surviving member of my village, I'm embarrassed that I didn't believe in him, that I betrayed him. I think that his plan could have worked. Had we all teamed up together, gone through the backup portal, we could have mounted a defense against the council. But regardless, what's done is done. I can't change it right now. I can only survive, and it's probably best that I don't spend a lot of time in quiet contemplation right now because it's not a good place for me. The book talks about something called mystical flowers. This is something I don't really know much about, but it seems like it's guiding me to learn some sort of magic. I'm kind of figuring out that maybe different planets have different magic systems that they can use, because while I don't have any of my old Ars Magica or Thaumcraft ability, I do seem to have some sort of ability to get these mystical flowers, and whenever I hold them in my hand, yeah, I feel something. I don't know what exactly. It's a little different than what I had before when I was a fairly powerful mage, but it's something. It's some sort of arcane ability, and yeah, maybe the book is going to show me how to do this. I spent the day using bone meal and grabbing flowers, and then with that, I could use those flowers and turn it into some sort of special Botania fertilizer. And with that fertilizer, I can get mystical flowers. Yeah, I got quite a few today. Less than a week into this new place, and I may have already screwed up. I can't figure out a way to fill a petal apothecary with water. I have no access to iron, so I can't make a pure daisy unless I can fill the apothecary. I may need to kill enough zombies to get 3 iron ingots. Oh, I might be here for a very, very long time waiting. The thought occurred to me today that I am an idiot. I can make a wooden bowl, and with a wooden bowl, I can scoop up enough water to fill it up. Yeah. Now I can make living stone and living wood with my pure daisy. Hooray. Now that I have a bit of living wood, I can actually make a wand of the forest, and with that connect my mana spreader, my 1 endoflame, with a mana pool. I have mana. I feel almost like a mage again. It's pretty amazing. I spent the rest of the day collecting living rock and living stone just to prep for the future. Last night I got attacked by phantoms. These things are really scary whenever I'm positioned just inches away from the void. Yeah, I don't have a fence or anything like that, and a phantom could knock me off very easily, so yeah, I need to sleep. So I have my mob farm roof that I hid under throughout the night, but I still don't have a bed. So I need to spend some real time killing spiders. I need 12 string in order to make a bed. I worked all day today on basically doubling the size of my platform and the roof that goes over top of it to make sure that no light seeps into my mob farm and make it efficient both day and night. Yeah, I really don't want to see phantoms again ever. More phantoms again, but I made an orchard. This flower is amazing. With just some mana, I can put down smooth stone and it will conjure ores from mana. I got enough iron to make an iron pick, and if this thing will actually make some redstone, I can actually even automate my endoflame a little bit. I am keeping an eye out for my spiders in my mob farm to get the string. I'm truly hoping this is the last night I have to stay awake all night. My mob farm blew up. I don't exactly know what happened. I just heard an explosion, came and looked, and yeah, boom. If I had to guess, probably a skeleton trying to shoot at me hit a creeper, and the creeper got even, but I don't know. Luckily, I didn't lose anything really good. My orchard is amazing, but my biggest holdup at the moment is actually stone production. I really need just a bit of redstone so I can move this whole project along, but as of yet, I've used all my mana and no luck. The orchard is coming along beautifully and is providing tons of ores. Tomorrow I'll automate this, but first, I finally got 12, actually 13 string, and that's enough for 3 wool, and that is enough for a bed. My goodness. I took a look around my little world, and finally went to sleep. I built an open crate and added just a bit of redstone. If my calculations are correct, the hopper should turn off when there's something, coal or charcoal in the pressure plate, and then when an endoflame eats it, it should drop just one more single piece. I hope I'm right on this. I don't exactly have the resources to spare. Today was a huge day for me on my little platform. First, I made 3 more endoflames. Tripling my meager mana production is a good thing. Then, I heard the familiar cackle of a witch, the last mob I need to finish this quest. I slayed the dozen or so other mobs in the farm, and I got the quest done. Hooray! And to cap the day off, I fixed my redstone and got my dropper actually working. But wait! Oh wait, there's more. I placed more stone since I had some mana saved up, and I got diamonds. Oh man, I am so happy. After a bunch of really sort of difficult and tough days today was a good one. I just needed a little bit more lapis to finish the orchard quest, and I got it today. It was awesome. So the next thing the book is telling me is to craft some mana steel armor and tools. That is probably going to take quite a bit of mana, unfortunately. I'm starting to have a real issue with not having dirt as well. It's kind of a problem, but not a problem I really see a solution to. I think for the time being, I'm going to be kind of stuck with oak and cobblestone. I set up more semi-permanent places for my 2 pure daisies. Of course, this whole thing is going to change as I begin to work out the actual layout of the base. But for right now, it's fine. It's safe. Everything is lit up and fenced off. I should be about as safe as humanly possible. I shouldn't have mobs spawning, and I really shouldn't be able to fall off my platform unless I dig directly under my feet. Well, let's just hope I don't do that. My dirt problem is real. I got a couple potatoes from some zombies and have a decent amount of seeds, but I really have nowhere to plant them. I'm still eating apples, which is okay, but it would be really nice if I could cook the apples or something like that, but I can't. One thing that happened that was very cool, I was by my mana pool holding an oak sapling, and I noticed I can drop it in and get a spruce sapling in return. That's really amazing. I kind of wish I had thought to check that before. I'm not going to be stuck to all oak and cobble now. Now it can be all cobble, oak, spruce, and I presume the rest of the saplings as well. This could actually be a huge game changer for me. I could start to actually make some things that look pretty as well as functional and keep me from falling into the void. Yeah, very nice. I spent a big part of the day laying out farms, sort of going into the evening and night. I decided to lay out some 9x9 meter farms and just hope that at some point the book is going to show me how to get dirt. I really don't know how that's going to be yet, but you know, it hasn't done me wrong yet, so I assume that the book is going to guide me in that respect as well. I did it. I saved up enough mana to actually get in a full Mana Steel armor and tool set. Amazing. And to boot, I look freaking cool. Now that I'm going to be using Mana Steel tools, however, I need a source of mana to carry it with me. That's kind of how they work, is they use, instead of durability, they use mana to sort of cost that. And if you don't have any mana on you, then they break rather quickly. So that's no good. These are pretty expensive after all. So I made something called a Mana Steel tablet. It's awesome. It's kind of like a battery that I can just carry with me that will just recharge my armor, recharge my tools, and actually some other things coming in down the road that are going to be pretty cool too. For the next quest, however, I need 10 pumpkins, and yeah, that's going to take a little while. So I planted my 1 pumpkin seed, bone mealed it up, and now I'm just going to have to wait. So while waiting for my 10 pumpkins to grow, I'm just going to farm as much spruce as I can, get a bunch of materials, and make a whole bunch of charcoal as well for my awesome new mana setup. I got my 10th pumpkin finally and made 10 fell pumpkins. The quest book is a little bit unclear here. It seems I have to go to the nether to get blazes, but to get obsidian, I need blazes. So after some research, I learned that you can make fell blazes, which is 2 iron bars with a fell pumpkin on top. I get kind of a hybrid blaze. It only drops blaze powder, but a good amount of it. Enough to make some blaze blocks, and with that, I can use my pure daisy and convert them into obsidian. Time to go on vacation to hell.
So this council banished you like they did your master?
Yes, but to a different planet. They called it a dimension, but I know science and understand that it's just a planet in a different solar system.
You knew science back then?
Well, my father did, and I learned it from his notes. You see, I was actually born on a spaceship called the Sheriff. There was some sort of accident and we had to evacuate. We crashed on a planet called Tovalin. I was just a child when we crashed, but eventually trained as a test pilot. One of our tests was to leave the singularity that surrounded Tovalin.
A singularity?
It's kind of a field that surrounds the planet. It wouldn't let any signal through, so my mission was to exit the singularity and drop a beacon. Unfortunately, it didn't go as planned. My ship hit the field and was projected out wildly fast. I was put into deep sleep and only woken once the ship crashed on a distant planet. I have no idea how long or far I traveled from Tovalin.
Wow, and the planet you crashed on was...
That planet is where I met my master and eventually learned magic.
Well, I did it. I made all the obsidian I need. Took a while to fight all those blazes, but I did it and I emerged victorious, although I will admit there were a few close calls. I made my portal, and tomorrow we're going to the nether. I spent the entirety of the day wandering around the Nether. I need to find a fortress and kill a ghast. Both things seem to be a bit of a challenge, but first things first. I need to be safe. I made a gold helmet to make the piglins think I'm one of them, and actually did some trading with one today. Honestly, it was quite fun to get some nice things from them, too. Other than that, the only valuable thing I found in the Nether so far is some red mushrooms, which actually will be quite valuable at some point. I found a fortress. It's quite far from my portal, and thinking of the future, I figured it would be best to just take time to make a small tunnel that goes straight to it. Before I go about the fighting of blazes, I need to get some food anyway, so, we're not fighting today, but at least I have a way to get back quickly. I finally found a blaze spawner and managed to take out a handful and got 15 blaze rods. I don't intend to come back here anytime very soon, so I saved for a few more than the 10 I actually needed. Lastly, I need a ghast tear. I've killed a few, but they keep dropping their tears over lava. So that's cool. I got it! I killed quite a few ghast, but finally got a tear, then another actually right after. I've had about enough of this Nether, and I'm very much looking forward to going home. It might not seem like much, but with all the gravel I brought home from the Nether, I can turn 2 dirt into 4 cursed dirt, and essentially have quite a bit more dirt. Not infinite, not unlimited, but a lot more than I had before. I'm almost starting to feel my vision for this place come to fruition. I planted as many potatoes as I have, and I am very much looking forward to eating real food in endless supply. I worked hard all day, and after my trip to the Nether, I am very much looking forward to going to bed. I had a terrible nightmare again. I dreamt of my master sitting in a cell. His rage at me must be just all-consuming. I have no real excuse. I wish I could try to explain, but in the end, I betrayed him. I don't think he could ever forgive me for it, and honestly, I don't truly think he ever should. I'd like to progress a little bit more in Botania, but in order to do that, I actually need sugarcane, and to get sugarcane, I need a hay bale. Well, I don't have any of that, so I planted the few seeds that I've gotten from grass, and I just need to kind of wait for them to grow. So in the meantime, I'm going to harvest a bunch of oak and get my mana production filled back up again. I made a quick trip to the Nether and grabbed some soul sand. I need netherwort for an upcoming project, so I need a place to actually grow it. I can get the actual netherwort seed by tossing a blaze rod into my mana pool, but I don't exactly have renewable blazes here, so yeah, soul sand it is. I'm in a kind of holding pattern now. I spent the whole day waiting for netherwort and wheat to grow. It's okay, I don't mind grabbing just a ton of oak and spruce in the meantime. Also, I made a grass block using fertilizer surrounding a dirt block. I'm spreading that on my second field for now, hoping maybe a chicken will spawn. I'm going to need feathers soon, and yeah, that would be a really nice sort of head start on an upcoming alchemy project. I made my first rune today. I'm still waiting on netherwort enough to grow wheat and then sugarcane, but I made an earth rune. Also, I'm going to want renewable mushrooms soon, so I made a dark room so they'll spread, but as of yet, nothing going. I did have an enderman teleport in there and steal one of them, so that's fun. Fun stuff. I only have a couple, and endermen are going to come in and take them. That's cool. I finally got my hay bale and traded it for sugarcane, but now I don't want to use my 1 sugarcane for crafting, so I'm going to wait until it at least grows too high to harvest it. Not full growth on netherwort still, and also no chicken has spawned yet on my grass platform, so all in all, nothing accomplished at all. Nothing at all. I got so bored waiting for these things to grow or spawn, I started building what will eventually be some sort of central park on my little base here. It's just a giant oval where I can grow grass and maybe down the road, maybe trees or who knows, a lake or something. It's not great, but I'm starting to wonder if my little grass platform is so small that there are limited chances for passive mobs to spawn, because it's been now 2 days and it's kind of weird that I haven't gotten a single animal yet, so yeah, maybe I just need more grass in general. Both my netherwort and sugarcane grew, so I finally made 2 runes today. Pretty fantastic. I still need a feather, but after a quick trip to the nether for more gravel, at least I have a bunch of dirt I can lay down to make a much bigger and better grass field. Who knows? Maybe today's my day. I made something today I probably should have made many days ago. A ring of magnetization. It's going to be a huge resource saver. I have lost several dirt blocks to the void and an embarrassing amount of other things as well. Look, every single thing I have right now is precious, and if I lose something in the void, that can really set me back. Imagine it was something like a tool or a rune or something that is really painful to make. My only mana is still generated by dropping charcoal into a pressure plate, and thus my ring is still going to pick that up. That's not ideal. There's a flower called a Solagnolia. It's pretty cool. It basically has a small area where it will deactivate my magnet ring. So I can put that near where I have charcoal laying on the ground and I don't want to pick it up. And no matter what happens in that area, my magnet ring won't take it. Yeah, pretty convenient little flower. I'm having a heck of a time getting this feather. If only zombies drop feathers. My grandfather used to tell me bedtime stories of zombies who, when you killed them, they would drop feather back in the olden days. He wasn't really my grandfather. In the Wandering Trader camp, we used to call him Pepo, and all the kids in the camp basically thought of him as their grandfather. When my mother and I crashed on Tovlin without my dad, he really looked after us, introducing us to the world that, at that time, I assumed we'd live in forever. Little did child me know, looking up at the stars, wondering where my dad was, if he was alive or dead, that not only would I eventually leave Tovlin, but I would actually live on 2 more planets. I'd become a powerful mage. I'd be banished in a void world. What a life. Well, anyway, I made something called a Cocoon of Caprice. I believe when it hatches, a random passive animal will spawn. Please be a chicken. Just please be a chicken. Maybe a cow. Cow would be okay, but I need a chicken. Please? My cocoon hatched, and it's a freaking bunny. It's a freaking bunny rabbit. And not only that, but whenever I walked after it to see what it was doing, it just ran off the edge. It just hopped off the edge of my platform. The only animal I've gotten to spawn was a freaking rabbit, and it just hopped to its death. I'm an absolute idiot. I'm an absolute moron. There's something in the book that the old mage woman gave me called the Rod of the Lands. Had I just read the book, I could have saved myself so much time. This thing is amazing. It, for the small cost of a little bit of mana, can actually spawn dirt. And I already had a bunch of runes made, so I used my Rune of the Earth, and yeah, I can just unlimited dirt for just a little bit of mana. I can actually fill in my field now. It looks awesome. It's fantastic. I added a furnace and some hoppers in my mana production area. I don't mind harvesting trees manually now. It doesn't take very long, and I think I actually can automate that later. But for right now, I want to be able to plop a bunch of stacks of spruce down, feed charcoal to my endoflames. Very soon, I want to get into some heavier botany stuff, and I'm going to need a lot more mana on reserve to do that. But first, the feather. I spent a good deal of time adding more dirt to my Central Park area. I really am hoping to get a single passive mob to spawn. This is pretty awful. If nothing else, maybe I'll get enough bones and string to make more cocoons, but blah. Chickens, man. Chickens. Speaking of bones, I used nearly half a sack of bone meal to gather flowers today, hoping I can make more Botania fertilizer. Should be an easy way to make a lot more magical flowers for when I'm ready to increase my abilities here. Overall, solid day. I finished off my Central Park today. It's pretty big. It's pretty bland, but pretty big. Hey, big news though. I got my first passive mob spawns. Okay, look, it's 2 more rabbits, you know, whatever, but it still counts. That tells me it's working, and that's what's really important. Now if I can just get a chicken, we're in business. I got a sheep. A couple of them actually. Yeah, this is great. This is really great. Not only can I turn wool into string, according to the Botania book, that's really cool, but it does show me, I was getting a little bit worried that maybe only rabbits would spawn, so it does show me that maybe all the passive mobs will spawn, and that's really, really good news. I also added a ring, so hopefully I won't fall off the edge. That'd be an added bonus. Be really nice to not die, only 40 days into my life here. That'd be cool.
So, getting back to your time on Tovlin, did you have a family?
Yes. My mother and I were on the same escape pod, so we lived together and found a small community of wandering traders.
Humans?
It's kind of hard to explain. Our ship was conducting an experiment when it went wrong. The experiment created the singularity, sending us all back in time.
Back in time.
I suppose that probably sounds fantastic, but it's true. The first ones to escape the sheriff landed closest to the current day. The last ones to leave landed far in the past. The furthest past humans to land on Tovlin actually set up a civilization. The wandering traders were actually descendants of them.
This is a lot to take in.
Yes, I have no doubt it is.
So you lived with them on this planet, Tovlin.
Indeed. In fact, I married one. I had children. I miss them all terribly.
And since your ship exited the singularity, you haven't seen them?
No, I have no idea where Tovlin is. I do look at the stars nearly every night and wonder.
I got chickens. Amazing. I slaughtered them and got a couple feathers. I'm not concerned about keeping them to breed now that I know my giant field theory is correct. That being said, I'm going to keep my sheep. Well, I was going to set them to auto shear, but Creeper decided he wanted to play. I'm going to miss those sheep. We've been through a lot together. I finished my rune quest, and I was on such a roll, I decided to do another one back to back. I made a Rod of the Seas. This thing will create water anywhere, just like the Rod of the Lands for dirt. It only costs a little bit of mana. It's really nice. So, thus, I decided to plant my other crop field. I should be rolling in food shortly. I decided after 40 days here in this place, I would like a roof over my head. I have big plans, but I can't focus on those when I'm so tired from sleeping, only feet away from moaning zombies. I built a platform at the end of my street, and will build my house eventually up top. But first, I'm going to fill this in with dirt. It's moving day, officially. Kind of. I'm moving my mana production from one little place to an expandable area halfway up my street over to where my house is going to be. I know I won't be using charcoal forever, but for right now, I'll be able to use more endoflames and be all good. To move my mana, I'm going to have to make another mana tablet and maybe a few more pools, so yeah, I'll have to make more living rock tonight. I moved my mana production, and I made 3 more endoflames. These are so basic, but yet I just doubled my mana production. That in itself is kind of amazing. We're just about ready to actually ramp this up by using maybe a few more pools and maybe a couple more spreaders to be able to move mana all over the base wherever I want to. I don't have a need for it in different places yet, but I think it will soon. I would just like to be prepared. After a solid day of building, I worked on making sure I don't fall or get killed by mobs. I put up fences around, then torch spam the entire ground, just hoping they won't sneak up on me. I'm really psyched about this progress. I am very, very excited to have, well, a home. I don't have an absolute need for any more pumpkins yet, but I think I might soon. So I built out another small farm area, and I do intend to plant pumpkins on that, and maybe melons as well. Should be solid. You know, it would be nice to have just this stuff sitting around, so when I do need it, if I need to make some fell blazes or whatever, boom, I have a 9, 18, 27, whatever on hand ready to go. I started the day mining a giant stack of ores. I need lapis for an upcoming project. It's kind of random what the orchid gives, so I used I used just about all the stone that I've smelted thus far. Should probably set up an automatic super smelter of some sort soon. But for right now, the manual isn't that painful. This orchid is amazing. It doesn't use very much mana at all, and as long as I just remember to use it before the pool fills, I'm not really wasting any. Yeah, it's really nice. I made something today called a terrasteel agglomeration plate. I think the gist is I can use it to somehow make terrasteel, and to do that I need a mana diamond, mana pearl, and mana steel. The only thing I have in decent supply is mana steel. I really don't have a source of unlimited ores, and would really like to. So, options. There's basically 2 routes I can go. I either need to focus on making more mana, or different ways to use my mana. I really don't know what is best right now. I guess the answer is really truly both, but I think for the immediate future, I kind of need to pick one. I spent the entire day moving the contents of my chest to my new actual storage place. It's not really a storage room yet, as it's not a room at all, but it's a kind of a wooden platform in the middle of a field that will eventually be my house, but yeah, you know, it's okay. My storage area, yeah, that's fine, storage area. I have a plan to make something I need a lot of, and that's smooth stone. Smelting cobble is already getting very old, so I'm hoping to use just a bit of mana to convert lava and water into smooth stone that I can more properly build out of, especially stone brick. I got some flowing water under lava, and that makes smooth stone. The problem is, if I break it, it will become cobblestone, and I'll be back to smelting it again. But I think there's a better solution. I can use a mana lens on a mana spreader. The one I need is called weight. It will make any block fall just like gravel. So if I put a slab under a smooth stone block and use weight on it, it should fall and break, but not turn into cobblestone. Should give me basically an unlimited supply of smooth stone. I just used a floating hourglass with a little bit of redstone to put it on a pulse, and yeah, I think it actually works. It's pretty awesome. I made a floating hopper hog today. This amazing little flower will pick up any item and drop it in the inventory it's connected to. However, there is one small issue. I don't want to pick up just anything, only smooth stone. Simple solution though, just add an item frame with the item and it will only take that. Boom. I feel like we're making progress here. I made a jaded amaranthus today. It's probably something I should have made a long while back, but this should allow me to convert mana into magic making flowers and thus eventually more mana. Getting mana up to where I want to plant it might be a little bit complicated, but eventually I want to automate it anyway, so I need to just get the infrastructure set up. I need a helper here. It's one of those things, I've always been a bit of a loner, but being here is just so very alone. I think it's the void, honestly. When I lived on a planet with other villagers, even if they were far away and I didn't have any real contact, I knew they were there. This is different. This is just me and this floating platform. Some days, it just gets to me. There was a lot of waiting today, and while I was waiting, I just found myself looking up at the stars and just wondering which planet was Tovlin. Missing my wife, my kids. Yeah. It's been quite some time since I last saw them, but it doesn't make the hurt go away. I made something today called a Pulse Redstone Mana Spreader to activate the Drum of the Wild. The thinking here is the drum will be activated every so often and break the magical flowers around it. I made an hourglass, but after trying it, decided it's just way too often, and instead I'll just use a button to just push it when I need more flowers. I really don't need to automate this. I dropped a Mana Pearl, Mana Diamond, and Mana Steel on my Terra Steel plate, and went to work building my new house. Seems as though my mana production is quite slow because by the time I went to go check on it, apparently the items despawned. Hooray for wasted precious resources. On the other hand, I do like the footprint for my house, so that's pretty cool. I got it. This takes an absolute crap ton of mana to make this Terra Steel, but I got the 2 required ingots by the old woman's quest book, thankfully. Now it's calling me to make a portal of some kind. This is weird. But first I need to address my terrible mana production for real. I've got to change. This is unsustainable at this point. Hey, I got some cows today. I don't really deeply need them, but at some point I'm going to want milk, and it's super nice to have it right here. I actually fenced them off in back of my house until I can build a more proper place for them. Who knows, maybe I'll build a floating barn. That'd be cool. I've decided I need to get some sort of enchanting at least. I'd like to get to a point where I can take on mobs without any fear, and I am certainly not there. An Enderman last night almost ended me. Here's the thing. To get the Botania enchanting set up, I need 17 obsidian. 17! That's a lot. I made all the fell pumpkins I could today and was still only able to come up with 13 blaze blocks, which can turn into obsidian. Looks like I'm headed back to the nether. I got the 17 obsidian I needed, plus a few spares. What an effort. After that, I realized I'm going to need more diamonds than I currently have. So... I made my 6 mana pylons. Pretty awesome. And now I get a quest reward. I haven't talked a lot about quest rewards because whatever, but this quest reward is amazing. I got Fortune 4, not Looting 4. Boy, I almost made a mistake. So you get one free book with this quest reward. Yeah, I got Fortune 4. That is a life-changing enchant at this point. I set up my enchanting stuff. It's a little confusing, honestly. Luckily, the book has this like preview function, so I could kind of preview it, but even with the preview, it was very complicated to set up. Yeah, I messed with it all day and couldn't really get it figured out. I spent literally another day trying to figure out how to get this enchanting setup to work. The book says 17 obsidian, but I cannot get the math to work to make this pattern equal 17 obsidian. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. It's making me just a little bit crazy. Oh, baby. Oh, baby, I got it. The thing dreams are made of a Fortune 4 pickaxe. I can hardly believe a thing like this even exists. Next, I'm going to harvest a bunch of wood, fire up my mana production, and I just went to town. I went to town on ores today. I'm really after diamonds, to be honest, because of some upcoming builds and things I want to do, but honestly, I'm just happy for all the ores. It was a great day of mining.
So, Bob, you lived on Tavalin as a young man, then the Mage World with your master after that. How did you get here?
Yes, we'll get there in time, but first, I need to tell you about the Inquisitors.
They sound like bad guys.
Yes, I suppose they are. What would you say if I told you this country you live in...
The United States.
Yes, the United States is not the only United States of America in the galaxy. You see, the sheriff, the spaceship I was born on, was from a United States. Many years ago, I became friends with a brilliant man. He and I have been working closely on a theory that there is an organization that is somehow guiding the inhabited planets of the galaxy.
There is a shadowy group on multiple planets working behind the scenes?
Yes. My friend believed they've gone under many different names. Illuminati, Knights Templar, Inquisitors. On Tavalin, they worked to keep us in the mid-ages for many, many centuries. On other planets, we think they've attempted to mirror this history of what we call original Earth.
Whoa.
For example, my mother used to tell me of a city in my United States called Miami.
I never heard of it.
It's where she was born, but yes, there's no such city here. But I've seen the maps of my parents' United States. The geography is all different, but many of the names are the same.
This is a lot to take in.
I started work on something I should have done much, much earlier. A simple tree farm. My idea is to make a modular system that can be added to basically anytime I need more. I made some bore lenses and I'm off to a good start. The more complicated stuff will come tomorrow, but we'll see how much of a master of the botanical arts I've become in the last 2 months. I moved a bit closer today on my automatic tree farm. Using a hopper hawk and 3 labeled chests, I should be able to dictate what goes where, and then from that, drop a sapling and pick up the other stuff quickly. One small drag is I'm not going to be able to use spruce with this design. I really wanted to, but it does seem like oak is really my only option due to spruce not growing with the mana spreader above it. I struggled today because I have a very basic misunderstanding on what a Runicarpus actually does and how it works. It places a block on the same block as what's under the block that it's planted on. You got that? So, for example, right now I had it set up where the Runicarpus is planted on coarse dirt, and I thought it would plant dropped saplings on coarse dirt. But no, it has to have a block under the block it's planted on that matches where you want the planted flower to go. It's a lot easier to see than talk about. Alright, after 3 days of working on this thing, it finally works. I got it now. If I want to later on, I can add a flower called a Munchdew, which actually eats leaves and makes mana. But right now, I'm not really worried about that. My mana production is going okay. Eventually, I'll have to upgrade it, but for now, I'm really worried about wood, which is honestly actually 4 mana production, but whatever, it's fine. The next thing I want to use is mana to increase the growth time of the trees because they are quite slow, and I know just the flower that I want to add to it. I wanted to work on the portal to Alfheim today, but first, before I get there, I did add 3 Agar Carnations around the tree farm, and they're basically like free bone meal. It costs a little tiny bit of mana, and it will just bone meal your trees eventually. It's noticeably faster, but still not quite as fast as I'd like. I believe they're stackable, so I might add a few more whenever I get around to it. But the big project of the day is the portal to Alfheim. Now, I think to actually get this thing built and working, it's going to take quite a bit of mana to actually turn it on, but I got it built. I put the pylons there, I put some mana pools. Everything is cool. The only thing I really need to do is make sure I'm getting mana to the mana pools that are going to sort of be powering the thing. And to do that, I'm going to have to rework where my mana spreaders are. It turns out mana spreaders can only go 12 blocks before they start losing power. So you get 12 blocks for 100% of your mana transferring between mana spreaders, but then after that, then you lose. So I don't want to lose any because I don't have that much. So yeah, we're going to have to sort of reposition where these are, but it's a small detail. I had a brilliant idea today that went sort of awry. I wanted to use endoflames at my tree farm. I'm getting all these sticks just randomly dropping whenever the leaves are eaten. And I thought, oh, well, sticks are burnable, so endoflames can eat the sticks. But you know what else they eat? Saplings. They freaking eat saplings. So yeah, so I wasn't getting any saplings. So after I went through about a stack of saplings, luckily I have a lot, but still I don't have endless supply. So yeah, I need to pick those guys right back up. I made a couple mana splitters today. For some reason, all the mana going to my Alfheim portal was all going to one side of the mana pool. Can't really explain that. So using a splitter splits the mana evenly between 2 different pools, allowing both pylons to be powered. I actually think this portal has almost enough juice to actually open it. I am very dissatisfied with the rate of my tree growing. It's just so very slow. I added a couple more Agar Carnations, bringing my total up to 5. Hoping the trees will grow very fast, but that adds a problem of mana. I still don't want to add a Munchdew quite yet. I feel like I'm not gaining that many saplings, and I don't want to push it. So I did add another mana pool to my splitter, and I'm shooting about 1/3 of that Alfheim mana to my tree farm now. Hope I still have enough for the portal. Honestly, I'm very tired. I'm not thinking very straight. I think that I've been afraid to go to sleep because of these recurring nightmares of my master, and yeah, it's not real fun. It's not real fun right now on my little floating island. I built a lake the last couple days here on my island. I just felt like breaking away from the Botania grind, and I really need to let the endoflames run for a little while to gather mana for my portal. But I've been thinking about my situation here. If I'm going to be stuck here forever, it'd be nice to make the base look a little nicer. What's nicer than a lake? Not a lot, right? So I spent the day digging it out, then I spent the next day filling it in, and yeah, it's looking pretty nice. We'll add some nature and some greenery later on, but it's pretty good. I needed one more obsidian. You know, I'm sitting here on 72 levels that are just wasting away. I decided to make an enchanting table and enchant my gear. I mean, why not? I could enchant books and all that Botania setup, but honestly, I'm not overly picky on what I get. So to make that, I have 3 obsidian, I need 4. So I made a blaze match and I put it in front of a pure daisy. And that's the moment that I realized what a complete and total idiot I am. I have access to the nether, which means unlimited lava, which I could turn into obsidian with just some water. It's truly unbelievable. It never even occurred to me. I mean, wow. Just wow. I enchanted all my gear today, and I got the one enchant I really, really wanted. Silk Touch on my hoe. Now I can actually start using leaves to decorate. That's pretty cool. This is going to be a huge improvement on my general mood. Today is the day. It's time to open my portal to Alfheim. If everything goes right, I should open a portal to a different realm. Apparently, I can't walk through, so there goes my ideas of escaping this place, but I can trade with the elves who live on the other side. It's super cool. Unsettling does not even begin to describe the emotions that I felt after seeing what I saw in the portal to Alfheim. After digging around the book, I don't think that's what I should have seen. I don't know if it's my former training as an Ars Magica and Thaumcraft mage or what, but yeah, the portal didn't exactly work as intended, and yeah, that was frightening. I spent a lot of time thinking about that portal, and I had kind of an idea. Well, we'll see if it's possible, but in the meantime, I made 2 rods. One will create cobblestone, and one will smelt it. It's pretty cool, actually. It's going to give me access to a lot more materials, and very readily and easy to use as well. If my plan works as I hope it will, yeah, I have a lot to do in a fairly short amount of time here. I'm just thinking about the nature of this place. It's so artificial. I mean, I'm floating in a void. It's no wonder I feel like my emotions and mental state is somewhat floating as well. The brain is an amazing thing. It's not so hard to trick yourself into a different mental state. I remember when I was younger, still living on Tovlin, I read the amazing book, Waking Up by Charles Tart. It talks about how it's possible to completely change your current self with a different self. He was talking about a more positive you, or a happy you, or a depressed you. In many ways, each of these yous is a different person, all existing at the same time within your brain. It's not terribly hard with some practice to simply turn the dial and select a different you to take charge of your mental wheel. I think in this case, not seeing the void below me may be a little push that I need to feel like I have solid ground underneath me, and maybe spin that dial to a more positive me. It is important that I make this place nice and homey, at least as much as I can. After working hard for 5 straight days, I decided to try my portal again. Feeling the connection to the portal, I tried to focus all of my energy and all of my mental focus to it. And, well, here's what happened. It worked. I don't know. I swear that was Tovlin. I swear it was. It was only there for a second, and when I moved towards the portal, it went away. Could I get home after all this time away? My wife, my boys? Could I see them again?
Tell me more about your brilliant friend.
Yes, his name was Percy Baskin.
Was?
Yes, sadly he got sick. We lost him 8 years ago.
That's sad. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm not convinced it was natural, actually. It was so sudden. I think the Inquisitors learned of what we were working on.
You think they killed him?
I'm not sure, to be honest. But these sudden tensions between countries, I think Percy saw it coming. He talked about nuclear war coming often. In fact, he started writing a book on how to survive it.
It sounds like you two were good friends.
Yes, indeed. He even named his son after me, Robert Frederick. Percy spoke of him often. He was so very proud.
So how did you get to our world?
Well, I suppose that's really the end of my story.
The portal worked. Only for a few moments. I tried to reopen it, but I couldn't. I was out of mana and out of mental focus as well, I suppose. It's something I truly don't deserve. I've been lost for years, in fact. I've written off ever having a chance to go home. When I look up at the stars, I have no idea which one could even be mine. And yet, if that was the castle of Tovlin, maybe this portal can do more than show me other worlds. I needed to do more study. I spent another 5 days adding trees to this area. It's so important that I make this place comfortable. It's just a facade, though. If I walk up to the edge, it's obviously a void, but as long as I stay on the paths, it's fairly convincing. I decided I needed something to kind of block the edge, so I went and got a whole bunch of different kinds of saplings: acacia, spruce, dark oak, birch, jungle even, and I just planted them right around the perimeter. Again, I don't know who I'm trying to fool here necessarily. Maybe myself, I guess, but it kind of works. My lack of bones is slowing me down a little bit here. I'd like to make more grass blocks so the grass will spread a little bit faster, but regardless, it will eventually spread and get all over the place, and that's what really counts. I wasn't paying attention the last week. I guess I was just thinking about the portal and trying to figure out what to do about it, and I completely ran out of mana. Totally. So, yeah, I had to go make a whole bunch of charcoal, and yeah, I spent the entire day chopping trees. Next up, I'm finally working on the house. It's been a state of half-built for quite some time now. It's time to make it a home. I may not be able to provide all the comforts of home, but I at least can put a roof over my head and work somewhat on the outside. Make it fun to come back after working all day on my Botania. Yeah, it's coming along. After 2 full days of building, I have the beginnings of what is a pretty nice little house. I like the footprint and the general shape. Could use a lot of detail, but yeah, you know, it's not too shabby. I can see living in this house, and it could be a nice home for someone. Trying to move things out of my way, I decided to raise up my mana spreader network a little bit so I can walk around instead of always stepping over them. I came up with a nice little design that should help make the place look a little bit better as well. Nice. I decided to semi-automate my pure daisies, finally. I just put Arana carpets down and automate it so it'll place the blocks. Then I'll just use Veinminder to break them whenever I want to. I don't see a need to automate the actual breaking of the blocks yet. But continuing base design, today I worked on the roads. There's something I really don't like about the roads, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Maybe I'll sleep on it and just see what comes to mind. I tried the portal most of the day yesterday, and I saw some things that I don't really understand. I just tried to focus my mind and focus on my family and focus on connections that mean something to me, but I don't know. It's going to take some study. More greenery today. The house is looking nice, but the land around it, not so much. So I took my bone meal that I had remaining and went to town, hiding lighting under bushes to keep the monsters away and adding tons of grass all over the place. It's kind of starting to look like a real landscape. Kind of. More greenery today. I worked on a few little paths within my yard. Yeah, this is starting to feel really good now. It's really starting to feel good. One downside is I have tons and tons and tons of skeletons that live under these trees so they don't burn up in the sunlight. So that's fun. I need to talk to an expert about this portal, and I think the only experts live on the other side. So I spent some time gathering my mana and focusing my brain, and after I gathered all the materials I needed, I opened the portal, and it actually connected to Alfheim. I started by trading with them the materials that I needed, getting some Elementium and some Dragonstone and some Pixie Dust. In fact, I actually got enough Elementium to make all new Elementium gear, both armor and tools. I look pretty cool. I actually had just enough levels to actually enchant all my new gear, so yeah, I'm pretty ready. Feel good. To finish the last quest in the book, I had to just trade a few more times with the elves to finish that off, and then that entire chapter is done, actually. It's pretty great. I thought about communicating with the elves all night and came up with a plan. I threw my Lexicon Botania through the portal, and only a few moments later, they threw it back, but with so much more information. They filled my book with elven wonders. Oh, wow. I spent the entire night reading and learning. Armed with elven knowledge, I made a conjuration catalyst. This thing is amazing. It can double at the cost of some mana, so many resources. Living in a void, this is absolutely amazing. I can double things like soul sand, gravel, sand, and many other things that are otherwise very limited or extremely difficult to get. Incredible. The Elven book told me of more things, and, well, maybe the thing that I need. I need one more thing. It's mundane, really, but I need one ink. I thought a squid might spawn in my lake, but it seems to be over a desert void, and thus no fish. So I spent today building a small lake in what I believe is a river biome, and I'm hopeful I'll get at least a single squid to spawn here so I can finish my work. First thing in the morning, I returned to my little man-made lake, and sure enough, it was teeming with squid. Just what I needed. I have time to do one more thing. I combined the ink with a feather and a book, and I sat down and started to write. I'm sure that you will never forgive me. You shouldn't, anyway. You took me in when I was the last living person in my village, surrounded by terrible monsters. You not only protected me, but you taught me the arcane, and further, you trusted me with teaching our new school. And yet, I lived in fear. If the council was so powerful they could banish someone who is as strong as you, what could you possibly do to defend us? I didn't fear for myself, but for the helpless and weak students who were not yet trained enough to protect themselves. I'm sorry. I should have believed in you and fought by your side. The council indeed did strip me of my power like you, and yet, in this new place, I found a different kind of power. Something based in life and hope, not blood and death. Through study here, I've discovered a spell buried deep within elven knowledge that I believe will rescue you from the council's jail and bring you here. I have prepared this place for you. I remember the times you talked about the smell of the breeze going through all the different trees and plants. I remember seeing you sit at the small lake outside our city walls and just looking over the water. Master, I owe you everything, a debt I cannot possibly repay, but I hope in time, living here in this place, you will find peace. Your student and friend, Bob. I left the book in a lectern and my armor on stand. I put all my items in the house where my master will see when he emerges from the portal. And I took one last look around. What I did here was good. And maybe, possibly, this will repay a portion of my debt from my betrayal. I don't know what the outcome of this spell will be for me, but I don't expect to live through it. The Elven book was very vague, but it was clear enough about one thing. The spell can only be used to bring someone here, but at the cost of sending the caster away. Like everything else with the Elfheim elves, it is a trade. I opened the portal, I focused my mind, and I cast the spell.
So you saved your master and used the portal to bring you here?
Well, not exactly. The portal spell was incredibly complex. It wasn't a summoning spell, but a replacement spell. I could summon my master out of his cell, but I would be projected in the opposite direction. There was no way to select a destination. I owed him everything, so there was really no question if I would do it. I didn't know if it would bring me to a survivable world or the vacuum of space. It was my utter surprise to appear here in middle of Pittsburgh in some sort of alternate United States. I arrived many years ago and despite never finding my way back to my family, managed to make a good life.
Bob, hold on a second. I just got some sort of emergency broadcasting system.
Huh. So they did it. I didn't think it would be so soon.
I don't understand. Who?
The Inquisitors. I'm sorry, my dear.
What's happening? Bob? What's happening?
I was at peace, finally. In my very long life, I've been banished, stripped of my arcane abilities, I've been betrayed and imprisoned by my closest friend, and stripped yet again of my regained power. My former apprentice freed me from the Mage Council using an ingenious exchange spell. He teleported me across the galaxy to some sort of peaceful botanical land that he built for me, floating gently over a void. I lived there for centuries, using Bob's strange plants to sustain my life, taking solace in that the Mage Council surely is dead from old age. My anger and hatred died slowly, but was finally replaced with a calm tranquility. Until he knocked at my door. Who are you? I awoke from my spell in the strangest place. Seemed almost like a jail, but different this time. I had no sense of being placed here as I did when I was first imprisoned. This was more abandoned. I felt alone here, as I've been for the past hundreds of years. True, I could feel Captain Doan suspended in my void. My void is sort of a cell or a prison within my psyche. Using just a small portion of my own life essence, I can keep him there indefinitely. Looking around this place, there was nothing there but a book and a cage-like machine. Machines. I'm no fan of the mechanical, but still, it seems like none of my arcane abilities came with me. At least this time I knew to expect that. Arcane talents seemed to be world-specific, and this time I would be ready to start from scratch. I learned quickly by hitting the stone with my hands I could get cobblestone, and from that, by throwing the cobblestone on the ground, for some reason this world converts that cobblestone into wood, so I had the basics of getting some tools started. What's even more amazing about this world is after I made a pickaxe, I learned that while I'm mining this stone, I was getting random ores to drop as well. I didn't see them in the walls, they must be embedded somehow in the stone, but I was getting plenty of ores just by expanding my little room. It didn't take very long until I got enough coal to actually start to burn some of these ores and smelt them into usable ingots. This might be a livable situation after all. After I mined all night, I spent some time reading this book that I found here. It has sort of instructions on how to live in this place. I don't know who placed the book here or why, but I'm going to use it. The first instructions in the book say to make a windmill. I am stuck in a cave underground. This is ridiculous. But that being said, I have no other real answers, so cave windmill? All right. It's very confusing, but I have to make cogs and turntables and yeah, I hate machines. And finally, after endless trial and error, I have effectively created a windless windmill underground. Apparently, there must be some sort of slight gust coming down here from somewhere. Regardless, it does work. Now to figure out this confounded crafting mechanism. Before I can do much more, I need andesite. It seems the only way to do that is just mine, so, well, here I go. One of the most powerful beings in the entire universe, stripped yet again of my amazing powers, and I'm hitting a stone wall with a stone pickaxe. This is humiliating. I finally got this mega crafting to work, and now, with a fully functional giant machine, I can actually make gravel. Yeah, gravel. I will admit, as much as I hate machines, that one looks pretty cool whenever it's fully functional. Regardless, back to digging, I need a lot more cobblestone and a lot more andesite. I need to start some sort of smeltery for something soon. To get that, I need clay. It seems like the most likely way to make clay in this confounded underground hole is to crush gravel, and to do that, I need a lot of cobble. And so, yeah. A lot of mining today, but I'm getting a little bit nervous about food. It's been 6 days and I haven't eaten yet. Yeah, I'm getting pretty hungry. I've been eating a little bit of zombie flesh just to tide me over, but it's not great. I think 7 days is more than enough time. It's time to make a blood altar. I'm going to put this right beside this zombie spawner and build my altar sort of under and around it. My thinking is once I get this thing full, I don't really want to move it, and I don't think I can move the spawner. Yeah, this should be an easy way to quickly start to gain back some of my arcane power. It's funny, this is the actual thing that got me in trouble in the first place. I guess everything comes full circle. I learned something today about my stupid machine. First, it can actually break down coal ore into a lot more coal than one, so that's good. Secondly, I can even break down iron into about 1.5 iron chunks per ore, so it's not exactly ore doubling, but I'm getting more, so that's also good. But most importantly, by putting granite into my blood altar, I can actually make dirt, and with that, I can actually plant some food. I got a couple potatoes from zombies and planted those immediately. I cannot wait to eat. Before calling it a night on day 8, I was able to make my first blood orb. Oh, yes. I know it's just a weak blood orb, but to me, this is everything. This truly begins my journey into the dark arts. I made an alchemy table today too. This is great. I can use this to double certain things and just create other things from simply a little bit of blood. Solid work. You know, I really need more room. I need more ores. I need more andesite. I need more cobblestone. I need more of everything, and I am kind of over mining by hand, but I don't have a better solution as of right now, so yeah, I spent another day just carving out more room for this stupid big machine I have. I need water in a bad way, and the only way I can see to get that is from cactus. Now, I can get organics, luckily, from throwing zombie flesh on the ground. I've learned that whatever transforms stone into ores actually will transform zombie flesh into random organic items. That's good. So I have a chance. So I can put my cactus in this machine called a mixer, and that should break it down into water. So I got a couple cactus and planted them, and now I just need them to grow because I don't want to use all the cactus that I have for this. So yeah, a little bit more mining today, and then we should be ready to craft later. The mixer is a two-part thing. You need the actual mixer part, and then you need the, well, cauldron or pot or whatever to actually hold it. So the hardest part of this whole thing is getting this gear to spin the right direction to actually make it work. And after a lot, and I mean a lot of trial and error, I finally got this ready. But believe it or not, I had to dig out more room. So I dug out a couple more layers. I really... yeah, I'm kind of over digging. My plan worked. The mixer actually did break down cactus and gave me some water, but more importantly today, I was able to make a small smeltery. Look, I figure if I'm going to be digging out walls every freaking day of the rest of my life, it feels like, at least I could use an iron pickaxe. So that's what I went about making today. Now that I have a couple buckets of water, I am able to use my weak blood orb, some sugar, and I can make something called a water sigil. Yes, I remember this from my days as a young blood mage. This is amazing. I can actually put water anywhere I want with this amazing device. After getting my water, now a lot of options are open to me. One of the things I really need is a lot of sugarcane for an upcoming project, and so to do that, well, I need to build a little bit of a sugarcane hallway. Yeah, eventually I'm going to be able to automate all this, but for right now, I don't mind a little bit of manual thing. I just will, just dig out a hole. Today was so solid. By using my alchemy table, a little bit of blown meal, and some dirt, I was actually able to make a block of grass. I don't need it now, but eventually it's going to be nice to have some greenery in here. Maybe I can even possibly get some mobs to come in. It's a little dark down here in my cave, kind of like my soul. Also, I spent some time working up a tier 2 altar. I need 8 blank runes, which are simple enough to craft. I think I'll keep my altar basically right where it is right now. I just need 4 simple runes and 4 tier 2 runes. Not a big deal. Now that I have a tier 2 altar, I would actually like to upgrade it a little bit more and take my blank runes and make 4 speed runes and 4 runes of sacrifice. They should both help it refill a little bit faster. I did try to make an apprentice blood orb, but I ran out of blood and the craft actually failed. After taking some time at the spawner to fill it back up, I successfully made one. It feels good to have even the beginning of some actual real power. We're moving in the right direction. I upgraded my pickaxe with 2 levels of redstone for speed and started digging out yet another room. I actually just really need stone more than anything. To upgrade my blood altar to a tier 3, it's going to require 20 more runes, and to get that, I need 40 reinforced slates, so that's 40 stone. Yeah, time to start digging. And with all my stone, I started the process of making my 40 reinforced slates. You know, this is such a mind-numbing process. My eyes just sort of glazed over, and I started thinking back to how I got here. You need to understand how strange it was to have another human being on my planet. It had been hundreds of years. Mostly, I had spent the day's quiet study of these plants and their amazing properties, enjoying my solitude. This Captain Dohan explained something about a singularity, a science experiment gone wrong that had somehow populated the entire universe. I've never had any time for science myself. If a so-called scientist got even a small taste of my powers, I assure you, it would never glance at one of their machines again. Finally, he said something that interested me. Some sort of an armada, traveling through space, was destroying planet after planet. In the past, I probably would have been delighted to hear that, but over the hundreds of years, something had changed me yet again. Spending these centuries in Bob's Botanical Gardens had sort of instilled some sort of belief in me that life, indeed, is precious. If something was wiping out all life in the universe, well, maybe I had been at peace for long enough. I think I'm nearly strong enough to do an actual ritual. There's one in particular ritual that I need to start with. It's called Serenade of the Nether. This should allow me to create lava for just the cost of a small bit of blood. The zombie spawner continues to get faster as I upgrade it by adding sugar, and hopefully it will keep up with my increasing demands for more power. More power. Yes. The next thing I need is a tier 3 blood orb, and to get that, it is a 25,000 payment. That's a lot. My altar appears to only hold about 10,000. I can add runes of capacity, but they don't seem to add as much as I'd like. I'm not really sure what to do next. I had my altar about halfway full and tried to craft this, and apparently I did not have enough. Even with my 5 blood runes of capacity, I only have 20,000, still 5,000 shy. So, yeah, I gotta regrind this up, unfortunately. It doesn't take that long, but it's basically a wasted day. And finally, this time I waited until my blood archer was completely full, and I had a stockpile of a lot of zombies just waiting to be killed, and I crafted up my tier 3 blood orb, no problem this time. Hallelujah. I realized something very silly that I should have realized a long time ago. I can use my alchemy table to make clay from just my water sigil and 2 sand. No more endless crafting gravel and chewing it up in just hopes of getting a clay ball. This is a huge win. After just a little bit more zombie grind, I dropped a smeltery melter into my blood altar and got a weak activation crystal. Now I can take my 4 ritual stones and my master ritual stone and create the Serenade of the Nether. Next, I need some obsidian, and to get that, I can just drop buckets of lava on the ground and use my water sigil to make some obsidian, and boom! I am about ready to go to the Nether. But yeah, before I go to the Nether, I need to be fully prepared. I have access to a little bit of food, but I've been really walking a tightrope, honestly. In trying to progress, I've not been spending any time farming, and that needs to change. I'm going to use some of my precious bone meal to finish off and plant all the potatoes I can, which should at least keep me fed when I go to the Nether. I made a cobblestone generator today. I know, I'm completely surrounded by stone, but I really just want cobblestone, so I'm hoping that I can make it and then smash it into gravel. I want to work on a smeltery, but to do that, gravel still is kind of my holdup. Unfortunately, after making it, I was disappointed to see that breaking cobble also gets you any of the variants of stone, which is not really ideal for getting more gravel. I may need to actually make a machine at some point. It's a bit disappointing for sure. It took me nearly a month, but I finally made a smeltery. I had to make a little bit of copper to make a few of the pieces I need, and luckily I have lots of it. Ore doubling, finally. I'm going to need some way to automate this. I did think about the way that Bob automated his stone generator back in my Garden of Glass world, but I don't know if that's going to work here. I need to investigate how to make an hourglass. I tried it, and sure enough, my attempt was less than successful. Apparently, my old apprentice Bob had learned some new tricks since his time staying with me because, yeah, the hourglass that I tried, it didn't do anything. Eventually, after much tinkering with redstone, I did find a machine that works. This thing spins around, and every time it goes towards the smeltery, it activates the redstone and will pull out an ingot. So, yeah, it's not super efficient, but it works. Now that I have my ore doubling completely automated, I need a tinker's anvil, and then I need to make a hammer. I am totally over digging out these rooms with a single pickaxe. At least a hammer can let me clear a 3x3 space. Apparently there are only some metals that you can use, and one of it is brass to make this tinker's anvil, so I needed to figure out how to make brass and then smelt up 3 blocks of it. After that, it was rather quick work to actually make the hammer. I slapped on a diamond for the extra durability and some redstone for some extra speed. And yeah, I am ready to go to town. I made a fan today. Apparently this thing is supposed to be able to blow hot air through lava, but honestly, after an entire day of working it out, I could not figure out how to do it. So I will stick with my smeltery for doubling ores and be very happy about it. Look at this press. Look how slow that thing is. Yeah, technology, man. If I'm being honest, though, I am beginning to grow a little bit frustrated with the state of my underground lair. I don't plan on being here forever, but the state that it's in is absolutely terrible. It's just a hole. It's just a hole with walls and a few machines scattered around. I need to move some stuff to a different room and free up some space. I spent basically a day working at the logistics of where stuff will be and moving my big dumb windmill. I need quartz to progress, and so it's time. I went to the Nether, and this was about the fastest Nether trip ever. I went in so speedy, grabbed quartz, and ran out. I spawned in a Crimson Forest, and the last thing in the world I want to deal with is a Hoglin. Those things could own me in 1 second flat. So I grabbed my quartz, and I hustled right back home. Finally today, on to storage. I made a bunch of storage drawers and a drawer controller, and so I am ready to get kind of organized. Not super organized, not like the greatest ever, but look, at least my stuff isn't in just random chests all over the place. We are moving in the right direction here. It really took me a full couple days, but I did actually get all of my compacting drawers and my regular drawers all set up. All of my ores should have a home and where I can grab blocks or ingots or nuggets right out of it, as well as all the different stones, including both cobbled and smooth stone variants. Things are good. Unfortunately, I can't figure out a way to automate getting this lava in here, so just every once in a while I have to go and grab 8 buckets and put it in the smeltery just to continue doubling my ores, because now that I have a hammer, I am getting tons and tons and tons of ores. In fact, probably more than I'll ever need. I made something today that I have no idea how to use. The book told me to make a small block breaker, so I did it. I don't know what to do next. Is this a cobblestone generator? Is this break ores? I don't know. It's just a machine. It doesn't tell you anything about it. So I just made this machine, and I threw it down the corner, and I don't think I ever looked at it again. I'd like to keep all of my blood magic stuff in the same general place, and since I have a room for my machines and a room for my storage, I may as well spend a day digging out a room for my future blood magic rituals so they're all kind of together. You know, I was just digging, and I just started thinking back to, well, this. Captain Doan's plan was simple, in a very complicated way, I suppose. First, using my power, I would teleport us to Fred's planet. Somehow, this Fred was the son of the commander of the Armada. Captain Doan called it an AI, for whatever that means. Teleporting this distance between me and Fred's planet would be incredibly draining for me, but once there, I believe I could bring Fred to us, and then all 3 of us to the planet Tavalin. Then, everything changed. Captain Doan mentioned he was working with the Mage Council. My captors. I was enraged. How dare they? In just a blink, I imprisoned this Captain Doan in my void and went back to tend my crops. I made a Hellfire Forge and decided I need a Tartaric Gem. Now this is a way to hold all my will, which I'll get from killing all these zombies. This is the next phase of blood magic, and after 40 days in this place, I think it's way overdue. But there are a couple ways to get will. First, I used a snare to get my first few, and then after that, I made a sentient sword. Now I can use the sentient sword now, but I really want to enchant it, and to enchant it, I need a couple more things. Well, I need an enchanting table. After digging up my room, I converted a bunch of granite into dirt, and I went about laying down a nice big dirt place. Now I took my 1 grass block, and I'm going to let the grass slowly spread, and just hope that somehow some cows make their way in here. If I can start breeding them up, I can start to get a lot of leather, and with that, I can actually make bookcases, so that would be great. After killing a lot of zombies and collecting a lot more will, I made a Petit Tartaric Gem today. This is the next level of gem and can actually hold a lot more will, so, well, after I make this, I'll head back over to the zombies and kill a bunch more. This zombie spawner is not fast enough. It's okay, but I need it to speed up, and I'm not really sure how to go about doing that. I spent the entire day killing zombies and filling up both of my gems so that I can make, the next level of Tartaric Gem. Finally, after 2 days of grinding zombies, I got the 240 will I need to make the next level of Tartaric Gem. I am in business. Yeah, it finally occurred to me that I don't need to wait for cows to spawn in my grass room. I can actually make leather using my blood magic alchemy table. So I did that, and then after that, I took my one book that I made so far, and I made an enchanting table. Oh, we're getting close. And after all that work, the common Tartaric gem is mine. Yes, this is amazing. Now, I can actually start to make some real improvements. Now, with access to lots of leather, I actually made all of the bookcases that I need, so I can now enchant my sentient sword. I think I'll make a new one, though, so it has full durability. And yeah, we're going to get a nice enchant here, and I'm going to go kill just so many zombies. I learned something about the unique mechanics of this world today, though. I learned that whenever I break stone, I am getting all cobbled variants, like cobbled diorite and cobbled granite and all that stuff, which is why I have to smelt it just to get dirt. But I can make a silk touch upgrade for my hammer, and then I will get regular granite and regular diorite and all that stuff with regular andesite, which is actually going to make crafting a lot easier. So I did that today, and now I have a silk touch hammer. Hooray. Yeah, and next, it's back to the grind because I need ritual stones and I need a lot of them. I'm going to need 36 tier 1 slates and 36 tier 2 slates. I'm going to be here for a while. There's something that's bugging me in the back of my mind. I believe there's a way to automate this slate making procedure. So I went to my Hellfire Forge and I was able to make routing nodes. Now, I think these routing nodes are basically like pipes that use blood magic to move items in and out, and I think they can move stone and slates in and out of the blood altar. To do this, though, I'm going to need some red dye, and, well, fortunately, my grass is spread. No animals, but hey, I got some red dye, so that's a win. I made some routing nodes and some standard item filters, and yeah, nothing worked. Nothing worked at all. I'm going to have to spend the night reading this blood magic book. Another day, another complete day of just trial and error. One thing I realized I needed is a node router. It's kind of like a connector that I can connect these nodes together, and you sort of see the lines go, and that's going to tell me where they're connected and all. But yeah, it doesn't matter. None of this worked. Nothing works at all. I was getting very frustrated at this point. All this time that I'm messing around with these stupid nodes that don't work, I'm just doing the slates by hand manually, and that's fine. I decided to spend one more day trying to get it to work, and I did, kind of. I got it to actually place the stone in the altar, but I could not manage to get it to take the slates out of the altar. I don't know. I looked at every setting 1,000 times, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I finally, though, after, 4 days of this, got all the ritual stones I need to leave this place, albeit temporarily. There's a blood magic dungeon that I've only heard about in stories. I'm hoping I can access it from here and bring its loot back. It might have some really nice stuff. But to even do that, I needed the next level of Blood Orb, the Magician's Blood Orb, and fortunately, I have a decent amount of zombies and a decent amount of Runes of Sacrifice, so I could get it. I did it! I did it. I completed the ritual to another world. This thing is going to be amazing. I was going to activate it, but I realized that I don't have anywhere near the LP in my network to actually do that. So, yeah, let's go kill some more zombies. I took my weak activation crystal and a whole bunch of LP that I got by working through the night, and I activated the crystal. Oh, yes. It is time to go to this dimension. I successfully looted the first room, didn't die, there are actually no monsters there, but I got something that I really needed. I got some tau fruit. So the first thing I did is I made a cow bait, and I got a cow to come down to my little grassy area, and then I planted my tau fruit where the cow is standing. Now, this is a little weird. If you plant tau fruit just in the ground, you'll get more tau fruit when you harvest it. But if you plant it in the ground under a living creature like a cow, you might get saturated tau fruit, and that is what I really need. It works! I got my routing nodes to work. I took a couple days away and I went and I thought about it. And when I came back, I changed the settings. And surely enough, I have a fully automated slate machine. Now, unfortunately, it's not automated where I'm getting more blood. I still have to go kill all the stuff, but it actually works. I am so happy. I'm so happy right now. Now, unfortunately, I still have to babysit the system. Like I say, not only do I have to kill the zombies, but I actually have to be close to the spawner so that it keeps spawning zombies additionally. It was really making me crazy. I'm just really happy about it. So I took the day and the automation opportunity to make a big handful of reinforced slates, and I actually made 10 more runes of sacrifice. That's going to give me more juice per zombie that I kill. That's big bang for my buck improvement. I had an idea about this zombie spawner. It does seem that you can actually improve it. And I thought, well, what's going to make it spawn faster? Maybe clocks. So I took and I made 16 and then later on another 16 clocks, and I just clicked on it. It did seem to do something, but I don't know what. It wasn't a noticeable improvement anyway, but I did put 32 clocks onto the spawner. And yeah, I didn't really notice any impact at all, actually. Not even a little bit. I kept Captain Doan in prison for years. No time would pass for him, but learning that the council still existed after all these years was way too much for my newfound serenity to handle. They will die. The fire, the rage, it was all back, perhaps even stronger than before. I sent myself into the void. I needed to learn more. I asked the captain to take me back through the portal he used to get to me. He explained it would kill me, something about he was a Generation 1, someone the Singularity had actually transformed, and thus he could travel through, but anyone else would die. I'm quite sure he could sense the change in me, my thirst for revenge. Quietly, the captain told me he would only show me where Tovalin is after I had brought Fred to us. There was much to think about. You know, I think I screwed this up somehow. I really only need saturated tau fruit, and to get that it has to grow near my cow. However, I think I planted it just too far away from me where I'm actually working by the blood altar. I may need to actually do something in this close area just so it grows, because I'm having no luck on getting some growth stages at all. Well, I think it's time to start some Botania while I wait. I want to stay very close to this cow, and, you know, my old apprentice was a real master of Botania, and I picked up a few things living in his old world. I think I can probably figure out some stuff that will help me progress further in my dark arts obsession, and, yeah, there's some good stuff. First, I gotta make these flowers, though. I added some storage drawers in my Botania area just to help keep me organized. All these flowers do tend to add up, and the nice thing is I can make 2x2 storage drawers and see all the different flower options that I want. I don't know how deeply I'm going to get into this, but there's a couple things I have in mind that would be kind of nice. I've been working here for 2 days on gathering Botania supplies, and I still don't have a fully grown tau fruit, and it doesn't appear to be saturated at all yet. Wah, wah. Hey, check it out! My tau fruit grew, and it wasn't saturated. It was just a regular freaking tau fruit. Well, boo for that. Yeah, I'm going to plant a couple more, maybe do like a little 2x2 plot so I have more chances. But the other thing is my cow's almost dead. It does draw life from it, whether it gets saturated or not. So I'm going to need to make a little bit more wheat cow bait trap things, whatever. You know what I'm talking. You know what I'm saying. Yeah, I just need a couple machine parts, though, and to do it, I need 2 more iron plates, and to do that means I need to hook up my presser. I was kind of hoping I was done with this sort of aspect of this world, to be totally honest. I thought I had maybe converted fully into magic, but I hadn't. The problem is when I hooked up my presser, it overstressed the cogs, and it wouldn't work. So what I have to do basically is unhook one of my wheels and then just hook this up temporarily, or maybe add more wind power. I don't really know. I don't really care, to be honest. I just want to make these 2 plates and move on with my life. I did in fact get more cows to spawn, and I'm still waiting on more of this Tau fruit. It really is awful. It's just awful. I'm just going to sleep here. I quite honestly spent an entire day just reading my blood magic book and waiting and still having no luck. I got another Tau fruit thing to grow to 100%, and again, it was not saturated, so I'm going to try basically one more time and just see how it goes. I'm looking around the base, and I got to be honest, it looks terrible, but I don't care. I'm leaving this place. The second I am powerful enough to bring Fred to me, we are going to put him in the Void World, and I'm going to teleport all of us to this planet Tovlin and end things with the Mage Council. But until then, well, yeah, I'm waiting for saturated Tau fruit. And would you look at that? After almost unlimited days and a few more cows dying, I got a saturated Tau fruit. Finally. This is going to be huge in crafting and allow me to actually progress to sort of endgame blood magic. This saturated Tau fruit is still at its second to last growth stage, and I need to wait. Time has officially stopped. And on day 69, the beautiful flower burst forth and created something magical, something pulsing with... Yeah, what? Hello? Okay, I will admit that is some creepy stuff that is going on here in my base. I don't know what that's all about, but I would like to leave soon, so it's time to progress a little further in blood magic. I need a weak blood shard, and to do that, I have to make this machine called an alchemical reaction chamber. Unfortunately, I don't really know how this works. I dropped my magician's blood orb in, and it started working. I thought, that's cool, and it's not cool. It actually reconverted it back into its original block of gold. So yeah, so now I get to spend a day making another magician's blood orb. That's fun. And after I made that, I learned how this machine actually does work, and I got my 2 weak blood shards. This is great. It's 1 guaranteed and a % chance to get a second one, so I was pretty lucky there. Awesome. I decided that it's time to start digging for a maximum tier altar. That's a tier 4 altar. And to do that, I need a lot of runes. I spent yesterday and last night making a ton of blank slates, and I think I am just about ready. I was just digging around, ready to make my tier 4 altar, and all of a sudden zombies started coming from everywhere. I'm not sure if they escaped out of the chamber or if they were spawning because it was a little dark. Either way, luckily I saw them, because if I wasn't paying attention, that amount of zombies and me with basically no armor, they could have ended me quickly. It must be spawning, because even then, even the next day, as I was working again, a ton of zombies, including some babies, and these guys are fast, came out from everywhere. Luckily, I could pillar straight up. My sword was broken, so I had to kill them with my pickaxe. And yeah, not a great way to deal with this, but I finally did. It was a little scary. It was a little scary, to be honest. I need to turn off the spawner. I don't know why I haven't thought of that yet. But then finally, it happened. I got my tier 4 altar all set up. I needed these weak blood shards for the caps on the pillars, and I am ready. Now with the tier 4 altar, I can do something that is very cool. I can automate the collection of blood. Yes. Now, by just using a couple blocks of coal and some blood from my altar, I am able to upgrade my Ritual Diviner to a Dusk Ritual Diviner. And with this, I will be able to make the Ritual of Well of Suffering. And with that, I can fully automate my blood power. And once that happens, it's only a matter of time until I can bring Fred to us, and I can get my sweet, sweet revenge. With my automated slate system, I was able to make 36 more ritual stones and a master ritual stone, and I am all set. The only thing I need is I need space. I'm going to have to move my altar around. I don't believe that I can move the spawner, so yeah, I'll have to move my altar around. So I want to make sure I get everything I need while it's fully functional, because once I move it, I won't be able to get any more blood altar crafting until I reposition it all. I made a terrible mistake and just got lucky. I was digging out space with my hammer, and I accidentally hit the spawner and I broke it. Luckily, the hammer silk touch, and luckily I could re-put the spawner back down. So the spawner is indeed movable, which means I can leave my altar where it was. I made the ritual above, and I am ready to activate it. Every hostile creature in this area will start to die as soon as I get ready. But to do that, I need a lower spawning platform. I want the mobs to spawn underneath me, so luckily now I can move my spawner so I can position it to be directly under the altar. So, yeah, I gotta dig again. I activated the ritual and went to go look and see, and yeah, I made another mistake. Unfortunately, the spawning platform down below is a little bit too low for the mobs to die, so I needed to raise it up by a block. Not a big deal, but kind of a pain in the butt. Oh, and would you look at this? It works. I brought the platform one block, and these guys are taking damage. Every time they turn red, that means I am leeching from them and putting blood into my LP system. I have my blood orb on the altar, so it's just getting completely full, and I am so excited. I stood here and watched this thing work for a long time, and while I was here, I was thinking back to, well, a conversation I had with Captain Doan. Bringing Captain Doan with me, trapped in the void, was simple enough. I visited him many times over my 100 days in this new place, this stone planet, all the while the captain continued to fill me in on the state of the universe. Actually, to be honest, it was hard for me to even grasp. Even a powerful master mage who was hundreds of years old. How could the Mage Council manage to have lived as long as I? I don't know. Perhaps it's their descendants. Perhaps it doesn't matter who it is. I'll kill them regardless. The Mage Council, whoever it is in those seats, will pay. Over time, I actually grew to like this man. He had only learned how the universe came to be in the days before coming to see me. Eventually, I explained to him the void was only active when I was visiting him, and the rest of the time he spent in suspended animation. James was quite upset upon learning that I kept him in a freeze for years. He told me the Armada was headed towards Tovlin, towards his people, the crew of his ship, the Black Goat, but also it was headed towards the Mage Council. A plan began to formulate in my mind. I'm stepping into some things that, even at my peak of blood magic in my prior life, I never delved into. Today I made a machine called a Demon Crystallizer. I think this could be of some use bringing Fred to me, but I'm not sure. It surely was expensive. I'll have to start replenishing my will very soon. Fortunately, I'm out to a nice lead on Slate, so I was able to make enough ritual stones to do this next ritual that I need. This ritual is called the Resonance of the Faceted Crystal, and I have absolutely no idea what it's supposed to do. I need to spend some serious time reading and studying my book. I think I'm too short on will to do this next step, so I spent the entire day killing zombies with my sentient sword and filling my tier 3 common Tartaric gem. I hope 1,000 will is enough to get this next part started, but I'm not really sure. Again, I am in really uncharted territory for myself. I activated the ritual and actually managed to get a couple crystals, but not nearly as many as I need. So I need the maximum tier Tartaric gem, and to do that I need to basically ramp up from the very smallest to the biggest, because it takes a tier 4 to make a tier 5, and you need a tier 5 to have enough will. You need a lot of will anyway. It took one of my demon crystals, but surely enough, I ended up getting it. I got the greater Tartaric gem. This is the biggest one. This is going to take me a long time to fill up, but at least I have it and I can start the process. I noticed a problem, a potentially kind of big problem. I cross chunks, and this gets a little bit technical here, but all of your aura, whenever you crystallize your aura, it stays within one chunk. My ritual crosses chunks, which means I'm not sure which chunk it will go into. So basically, I spent the day digging out and preparing a room that is exactly one chunk big, so all of my aura will stay within that chunk, and then I can crystallize it from there. Again, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of going by the seat of my pants here. I have another problem. I dumped a few stacks of smoothstone into my blood altar and notice it is not quite keeping up even when I'm in range of the spawner. So thus, it's time to upgrade. I've done really nothing of the 28 runes from my tier 4 upgrade. They're all blank, so I think I need the materials for all 28 to be runes of sacrifice. Fortunately, again, I have lots of slates. I can do it, but it's going to basically run me out of materials. I think this will make it keep up for any amount of crafting that I really want to do, though. And just like that, I used up all of my reinforced slates, but it worked. I have runes of sacrifice, the entire 28 exterior runes, and I should be good now to craft as much as I want. I can automate this as long as I'm standing close enough for the spawner for it to be active. I took the opportunity of, while I'm waiting for all this crafting to happen, to just kind of run around the base and pick up my ore and crap that's spread out everywhere and process it. I have enough ore for probably about a city made out of gold and bronze and stuff, but for right now, I don't really need any of it. But, you know, I got nothing else to do while I wait. I want to do more stuff, but I'm out of will again. So yeah, back to the will grind. I mean, look, it's easy. It's just time consuming. It just takes a really long time to fill these up. A really long time, like literally 2 days it took to fill up this one gem of just constantly grinding. Yeah, I mean, that's cool. I'm getting lots of returns for it, so that's good. But yeah, lots of time. I had some success, though. I took my mostly full Greater Tartaric Gem and put it in the Demon Crystallizer, and crystals started springing up. Now, I need to have at least, I think, one of each kind, so I can just grab these with my Silk Touch pickaxe and pick them up, I think. Well, maybe Silk Touch doesn't matter, but regardless, I can pick them up. So this is good. This is a good first step of this sort of last ritual that I want to do. Bringing Fred to me is going to draw a lot of power from these crystals, so I'm going to need quite a few. So, with that, I made 9 Demon Crystallizers and put them in one Demon Crucible in a different chunk than my main setup. This should put a ton of will into the air for my 9 Crystallizers and should make a lot of baseline crystals, which I can draw power from for sort of my final portal. I really hope this works, but I'm starting to get a good feeling it will. While trying to make some demon slates, which is the tier 4 slates, I just realized that I just need a second Tartaric Gem of the big one, the greater kind. I need one to be running on my big main crystal area where I'm getting all the different kinds of crystals, and I'm going to need one to do sort of the baseline crystals. So yeah, I spent the day going through the whole thing again just to get a second greater Tartaric Gem that I can maybe grind one while one's working and do whatever I want. But yeah, back in together more will. Hooray! I had my first very, very close call on day 92. A creeper must have spawned somewhere. That's all I can think it was, unless it was some other random explosion. But I was just digging out this. I want to dig it down about 23 blocks for this big ritual setup that I want to do. And I almost got blown up. It was really close. I mean, I did get blown up. I just didn't die, fortunately. Or, well, I guess that'd be the end. So yeah, I'm digging out a one chunk hole down about 23 blocks where I can put 3 or 4 rituals all on top of each other, and I think it should work out nicely. I have the sketch of the rituals that I want to do, and to do that I need 42 more ritual stones, which require lots of slates. It's going to be great, but yeah, it's going to take some time to grind. I keep doing it. I keep moving away from the spawner, darn it, and it just stops being active, and then I start not getting enough blood to make this. This thing is fully automated, and it's going to go great, but I just need to stand here. So I'm just going to stand here and study my book and look into sort of my final ritual a little bit more for an entire day while I craft about 3 stacks of slates. I achieved something today that will be very, very important in the future. I got both sets of living armor, the helm and chest and the legs and the boots. I am now completely, fully living armor equipped. It's going to be very difficult for the Mage Council to defeat me at this point. I just need to get there. Well, I realized today that I made a terrible, terrible mistake. I could have sworn in my youth, back when I was first delving into the dark arcane arts, that there was a way to automate will production, but it seems now that is not possible. So that being said, I need to alter my plans on how to bring Fred here. I need a lot of crystals, and I need a way to get them quickly. I took all of my newly crafted ritual stones, and I did the 2 main rituals that I need in order to pull this off. I harvested all my crystals, only to realize that I need 1200 will to combine them into placeable crystals on the ground. Well, back to the grind just a little bit, but I am so close. I can feel it. My full blood magic power is almost returned to me. My rage at the council grows ever stronger. It is done. After 99 days in this place, I have managed to regain all of my lost blood magic abilities, and from the ritual that will grow to harvest these crystals, everything is ready now. The crystals are growing and I can feel their power coursing through my body. Now, I just need to wait. The crystals will do the work for me, and in time, they will open a portal to bring this Fred person to me. My time is at hand. Finally, the moment, my moment, was at hand. I brought Fred through and into the void. For me to teleport the enormous distance to Tovlin, it will require them both to be in the void. I assured them I would free them both after we arrive. And I would free them. But first, I had other plans. I opened up 3 small portals in the void, not big enough to pass through, but big enough to talk.
Finally!
Theo, stop. He's here in time. The Armada is not yet to us.
Edwin, thank you for helping. After all we did.
After all you did. Yes. Edwin. You know, I almost forgot my name. It's been so very long since anyone called me that.
Why are you contacting us through the Void World? Come here at once! Do you have Fred and Captain Doan?
Yes, they are here with me. How long until the Armada arrives?
Only hours. We'd nearly given up hope.
Hopelessness. Yes, I remember that. When I was banished on a world filled with terrible monsters for doing nothing but exploring some of the very dark arts that you hope will bring your Fred to you. I remember hopelessness when then you convinced my closest friend to betray me and imprison me in a cell no bigger than 5 paces wide.
Edwin, what are you doing? Take us back to Tovlin.
This Armada, is there any hope against it?
No, its power is too great. When Cal arrives with his fleet, the entire planet would be obliterated.
Obliterated? Huh. I only wish you would know hopelessness for as long as I have, but a few hours will have to do. For many years, I thought I would be the one to lay waste to this council, but this technology may be worth something after all. Goodbye.
No! Edwin, my people! They're on the moon of Tovlin. Cal will certainly destroy it as well.
We will stop Cal. I have no desire to see all life in the universe wiped out. I did once, but my old apprentice showed me life is indeed precious. But I will not spare the Mage Council or their people.
My people, the crew on Apuro, have nothing to do with the council. Please spare them.
There may be a way. I could use a spell I learned from Bob, actually. A variation of the exchange spell that saved me. Maybe.
You can save my crew? Please.
I can, but it's not... The spell will cast your crew individually, randomly throughout the entire universe. They will be placed on random planets, each alone, having no idea what happened, and no hope of being rescued.
The alternative is death at the hands of the Armada.
So be it.
Landon to Apuro Command. Come in. Apuro Command. Is anyone there? Tracy, come in.
Yes, Dr. Landon.
Why isn't anyone in communications answering? Where is everyone?
Apuro base has been abandoned, Dr. Landon.
What? What do you mean abandoned? Where did they go?
Unknown. The crew of the Black Goat simply disappeared. Dr. Landon, I'm detecting many incoming ships at very high speeds.
A fleet?
An armada.
Hey, Edwin, are you okay?
He's breathing very rough.
Did the spell work? Did he save your crew?
I think so.
So, what do we do now?